Well, hello, hello. That is a horrible way to get this day started. Guys, I apologize for the delay and technical difficulties here. For some reason, my X-Plane does not want to play nice right now. It was giving me some serious frame rate issues. It was locking at 19.9 and it wouldn't move. I don't know. I hadn't seen that before. And then OBS decided to do an update right when I decided to go live, and that messed up a bunch of stuff. So yeah, we are off to a phenomenal start. I apologize. I missed a lot of comments on the that original stream window that I had up, so I apologize for that, guys. If you were talking about something or asking me questions, if you want to repost it, we'll get back at it. But man, that was we're going to get through that here. We're not even going to mess with the ground power. We're just going to go straight APU. We're going to get this thing on the road. We're in the wonderful Flight Factor A320 with the Matavia mod. We're operating Spirit Wings 3. Oh, I don't even know the flight number anymore. But Andre GG just subscribed. Man, I really appreciate that. I apologize you had to witness such horrible technical difficulties on your first video here that you're subscribing to, but normally it's a lot smoother than that. Let's listen to this APU fire up. Let's get some good news. Where is the Discord? I will have to relink the Discord in the description. I apologize. I will try to get that up here as soon as we get this show on the road. Cianti says, must be because of Spirit Airlines. Yeah, man, you get what you pay for. You get what you pay for. APU's coming online here. Should get a changeover. There it is. Let's see if we can just get stuff working here. Let's get the bleed on. Let's get the temperature down in the cabin. San Diego's pretty nice, though. Get that crew supply on. We'll get the 8 ears aligning. 1, 2, 3. We're supposed to wait for the on-bat light. But we're just going to make sure all 3 of those are aligning. Perfect. When you guys align your 8 ears, if you look carefully, it's not 1, 2, 3. It's actually 1, 2, and then 3. And by technicality, I guess if you want to turn them on properly, you would do 1, 2, and then 3. You don't just go straight across the board. Just a little tidbit of information for you. Is this the new update somebody's asking for me? I am not aware of a new update. Was there a new update released today? Did it go to stable, or is it a beta update? Because unfortunately, I do not do beta update, or I do not run betas on the Flight Factor just because I have too many issues, man. I get so many issues with beta products. Let's get the doors open here. Let's get some cargo going on. Happy Sunday, Tommy Monroe. Thanks, sir. Happy Sunday to you. Guys, I apologize. I don't know why it says my stream varying resolution is pretty poor right now. Hopefully we can clear that up here as things move along. And let me get a flight plan with Pilot Edge. Now, we are... let me get this down. We're going to be... Pilot Edge doesn't go all the way down to Cabo, but we're going to use them to get us out of the area here. We're going to go with Spirit Wings 3. Actually, we could check by looking at our Project Fly here. Dimitri coming in with the donation, saying, let's get those Coronas and tacos out. Hey, man, as soon as we get this plane rolling, I got some Coronas in the fridge, and we are going to pop a couple of those open. And it's just been a crazy couple days, guys. I was supposed to be done with work and starting my leave, and they called for an extra trip, paid double time, so I did that, and yeah, so I'm all behind. Okay, we are Spirit Wings 355 according to Project Fly, so I'm going to put that here in Pilot Edge 355. But thank you, Dimitri, for supporting the channel, man. I really appreciate it. We are definitely going to share some cervezas. I feel like getting Pilot Edge online is just going to be a pain in the butt, but we're going to try it anyway. Daniel Smith says, I just use the APU all the time on the 737. I learned that the Ryanair does actually use the GPU. Nice. Another beta released weather radar. It's stable. Oh, there was a stable update on Friday? Wow. Well, we're going to have to try that. We're going to have to try that out. All right, guys. I know you're getting out of focus on the stream here. I'm trying to figure out what is going on with that. Looking. Why would that be out of focus for you guys? I know it's showing out of focus. Detecting skip frames. Hopefully we get this clear up here, guys. Do apologize. All right, let's take a look into the box. Get my chat window up for y'all. All right, now I can see what you guys are talking about. All right, let's take a look at the box here. We are going to initialize the aircraft from KSAN. I'm just going to use the keyboard, a little bit easier to type. Mike, Sierra Delta. Flight number is going to be Spirit Wings. All right, okay, you guys are saying it's okay then. All right, well that makes me feel a little bit better then. I'll leave it be for now. 55. We're going fast. We are, oops, not 9. That's not very fast. 99. 350 for the cruise altitude today. All right, well, I'm glad. All right, thank you guys are checking in and saying it looks good here. All right, awesome. That makes me feel better. Oh, you know what is funny? That's funny. It was, so YouTube is telling me bad stream, but I had to scroll up to where it actually says it's better. So it's better now. All right. Just one of those days, guys. You ever just have one of those days where everything that can go wrong just seems to go wrong? That's what I'm having right now. All right, here we go. Here's our route of flight. We're going to depart off runway 27 on the Zoo 2 RNAV departure. Let's do this proper here. Let's get plan mode up on the ND. Let's pop it out so we can see what we're doing. We're going to go off at Zoo 2. And then we are going to take the Senza. So we're going to insert that. And after Zoo, it's direct to Senza, C-E-N Zulu Alpha. Insert that. Tango Indio Juliet. All right, and then we're going to go to airway off of this, which is Uniform Tango 6 to Imusu. India Mike Uniform, Sierra Uniform. Followed by UT25. All the way to Lima Tango Oscar. Actually, we can do this. Pick up Victor 4 to Aneco. Oh. Hello from Sacramento area. Well, howdy. How's it going? And you see your name scrolled off the screen here. Andre, good to have you here, bud. I got family members that live up there in San Diego, so it's always good to have some people from around there. Or not San Diego, Sacramento. Hello from Britain, Daniel Smith. Howdy, good to have you here. Dougal in the house, good to have you here. Seeing some familiar names, I'm loving it, guys. Glad to have you all here. Glad to have you here. All right, after a Neko, we're going to do the arrival. Now, I just went to Cabo the other day, and we are going to do the RNAV 16, the Neko 1 Alpha, and is it this one? Let's see, did I do the right one? I want to do RNAV 16, and Neko 1 Alpha. Okay, we'll insert that. Let's take a look at the route. Flying down over the Baja. If you guys ever watch in the States, there's Shark Week is approaching, and a lot of great white sharks are in the Sea of Cortez there off the Baja Peninsula, Mexico. And every time we fly over it, I'm always like, man, I do not want to have to do ditching in this water. All right, we got a discon between Merak and SD800. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that because this is actually connected in real life. They expect you to fly Merak to SD800. So we're going to throw that in there. Our route looks good. Tommy Monroe says it won't be one of those days after you butter in Mike Sierra Delta. Dude, I sure hope so, man. We're going to try to get a butter. We are going to try to get a butter. All right, let's get things looking up here. Things are looking up. All right, so we've got that. Secondary flight plan out of San Diego. Very important. Very important coming out of San Diego. We're going to do K-SAN to K-SAN. Put that in here. Secondary again. We got a line. It's begging me to align. No worries. We'll do that here. We're going to set up for the... If we have to come back, we're going to go right back into the loc. And the perf data for San Diego is... Let's just do a quick look here. .3. Temperature is, according to this, is 21. Uh-oh. I accidentally cycled the flap lever. Don't want to do that. Clear that out of there. That's my fault. Hopefully we'll fix that on engine start. And 210 at 6 knots. And 8th. Is it 8:30 or 7:30? I think it was 8:30. All right, so that looks good. Let's go ahead and initialize, get this finished up here. Align on ref, K-SAN, confirm alignment. Things are looking up, guys. Hello from Chico, Mr. Oofs. Howdy, man. Good to have you here. I used to fly a lot of freight up into Chico, Redding, all around there. Hey, V1, JCP123, good to have you in the house, buddy. Daniel Smith is coming in saying, this might just be me, used to Boeing, but do you think the Airbus FMGC is a bit complicated? It is definitely different, Daniel Smith. It's a completely different way of understanding, or I mean, it's a completely different way of looking at the way the airplane flies. I mean, there's so much different. I wouldn't say it's harder or easier. It's just so different. That is the thing. All right, so the SID today, Zoo2, that takes us up to flight level 230. Let's get that in the box. And how are we looking with our zero fuel weight? We want to do... Let's take a lot of people down. We got a full plane. Let's set it 2/3. It's a Sunday. We're going to go ahead and hit set for there. And how about 10.9? That should be enough. That is set. All right, so perf data 55.4. Zero fuel weight is 28.0, or CG is 20.0, 27.1. ZFW CG is 28 though. Perfect. Right in the middle. That looks good. What do we got for speeds? We're going to do a flaps 2 takeoff out of here. 131. And San Diego Hey guys, we got BSS. We're gonna go no flex. We're gonna let it rip. Hello from Finland, Luke Els. I apologize for missing that earlier. That's quite a ways away. Good to have you here, buddy. All right. Here we go. Flex to all right, I'm trying to catch up to the comments. All right. We have everything else looks good. Let's close up our doors and windows, service panel. We have our fuel, passengers. We can go ahead and remove that. We can remove the baggage loaders. And let's take a look up top. Let's get our pumps on. That should have been on. All right, that all looks good. Let's plan a pushback. Man, I can't wait to get airborne and get some cervezas going. All right, we're going to push back into the alleyway here.
Round to cockpit, plan acknowledged. Call me through the menu when you are ready.
All right. We're going to squawk 2522. All right. What did I say our flight number was? We are Spirit Wings 355. Let's go ahead and connect to Pilot Edge. Let's give it a shot. I'm going to file a quick flight plan. IFR, Spirit Wings, NKS 355. I'm going to file it one time. If they don't like me, screw it. We're going without them. They don't cover down in Mexico, guys. So they just cover the San Diego area all the way to the border. So we could still use them for departure, which would still be kind of cool and getting out of here. So arriving location is Mike Sierra Delta. 35 is good. And what did I say? Oh yeah. Just putting in the route of flight, and we're going to get on with Pilot Edge. I really hope that they continue to expand their network. I don't know if it's in the makings or not, but I really enjoy Pilot Edge. Just the way they operate is very professional, and it's very easy plug and play in the simulator. If you guys are looking for an ATC program, man, this is pretty good. All right, here we go. We're gonna file it. Spirit Wings 355. We're gonna log into the center as 355, and we're gonna give it one shot here. Man, all these call signs, I'm gonna forget who I work for here pretty soon. Airline is NKS, and we're in the NKS livery.
Connected to Pilot Edge.
Connected to Pilot Edge. Last thing we need is comm out of here. Clearance delivery is 25.9.
Delta taxi to Parking Meet Bravo. Have a great rest of your afternoon.
Taxi via Bravo. Thanks for all the help.
All right, let me get my notepad.
Santa Barbara ground, Moody November 123 Mike Sierra is north parking, ready to taxi.
Well, I'm definitely glad I tuned into Pilot Edge. She sounds much nicer than a couple of the other guys we had on.
Runway 25 via Juliet 4, Moody 3 Mike Sierra.
Good evening, San Diego. Clearance Spirit Wings 355. Looking to pick up our IFR to Mike Sierra Delta, San Jose del Cabo.
No 4 Sierra X-ray, exit left to enable taxi to Parking via Alpha. Have a great rest of your day.
Taxi via Alpha and exit 1 able. Sign 4 X-ray, and you too.
Let's see if she'll get back to us here in a second. I'll catch up some of these comments. Hello from Israel, Ireland. All kinds of guys. Hey, glad to have y'all here, man. Appreciate it. Rutnut6, hello from Mississippi. Oh, wait, hold on. Forgot my state is literally useless. At least I have the beach next to me. Yeah, that's true, man. Hey, there's some good fishing in Mississippi. I'm a big fisherman.
302 uniform, your radar contact over Santa Catalina VOR. Catalina altimeter.
Daniel Smith says, I saw you fly the 737-200. It looks really great, but that workload. Oh, yeah, man. It's a total workload airplane, but it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. Let's see. We're on the right radio. Yeah, we're at 25.9. Let's give her a call again. Yeah, good evening. Clearance, Spirit Wings 355, looking to pick up IFR from San Diego to Mike Sierra Delta.
Spirit Wings 355, Lumber clearance, clear to Mike Sierra Delta Airport. Zoo 2 departure, Cinza, a file, climb via SID, expect flight level 350, 10 minutes after departure. Departure frequency 119.6 and squawk 2554.
We got it on the first time, boys. All right, Spirit Wings 355, we're cleared to Cabo via the Zoo 2 departure, sends as file, climb maintain 35, or expect, climb via the SID, 350, 10 minutes after departure. Departure frequency is 19.6, squawking 2554, Spirit Wings 355. And you say...
Spirit Wings 355, read back to rest.
Hey. Hey, we were pretty close on the squawk, guys.
175, correction, November 15.
2554.
134.2.
But I don't know if y'all just saw that. I got my clearance on the very first try with Pilot Edge. So if you guys have been tuning into the channel for a while, you know that's an accomplishment for me. All right, we're in the beautiful MATAVIA mod 320. Gosh, look at this. I love gray airplanes. There's so much white and blue. Southwest is cool too, but this gray, I love it. All right, let's get a pushback. Let's run a checklist. Let's get this plane off the gate so I can get a Cerveza. Overhead panel looks good. And let's get this beacon light on. And let's run a checklist.
Are you looking for straight in or circle?
Pre-flight checklist. Maintenance log tail number as onboard checked. Gear pins and covers removed. Signs. They are on and auto. ADIRS. Navin. Fuel. 10.7 required. 10.9 on board. Engine. Let's see. Yeah, 10.9. 10.7, 10.9 is on board. Altimeters. We got 2.9er. What did we say it was? 2.9er 3 set 3 times. EFB check. Pre-flight checklist complete. 4-start checklist. Windows, doors, and slides. They are closed and armed. Beacon is on. Thrust levers idle. Parking brake is on for now. Transponder is coming into auto, which it already is. Before start check is complete. All right, gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, if we have any ladies on this evening, let's go ahead and get off this gate. What do you say?
Ground to cockpit. Tow is driving up.
Joe Warriors 182. Hey V1, first time tuning in. Good to catch you live. Hey man, glad you could have you here. I apologize for the kind of a cluster we had going on getting this show on the road, but I think it's starting to smooth out. Oh, somebody requested the audio to be turned up. Yes, let me turn it up. You guys let me know how the in-game volume is now. I just boosted it significantly. And let me know if it's too loud.
Santa Barbara Tower, King Air 3020, Mike is on his GPS for runway 7.
3020, Mike, Santa Barbara Tower, runway 7, clear to land with variable at 5.
Clear to land.
Dougal says sexy ATC voice. Heck yes, Dougal. Should we ask her if the voice matches the expectations? I got a story about that. We can talk about it en route. About controllers.
Santa Barbara Tower, Moody, November 123, Mike Sierra, holding short runway 25.
Cade Murtaugh asked to turn up the game volume. I just did. Hopefully it's better.
132, Mike Sierra, Santa Barbara Tower, hold short, runway 25, traffic, King Air, opposite direction, final, runway 7.
What's going on with the...
We'll hold short, runway 25 for Mooney's Mike Sierra.
All doors and hatches are closed, ready to connect.
All right, he's going to go ahead and connect us.
1302, uniform, contact code bridge 128.1.
Rutten says, yeah, we do have some good fishing. Excellent. Busman69, hi from the UK. Howdy, buddy. HD Simulation, talking to Keith at Pilot Edge. It's a major undertaking to expand the network. You have to get certified by government for the area you want to expand, and it's costly. I could definitely understand that because it is such a quality product. I can imagine it would be costly to expand the network. It's just, you know, I can wish, right? I can hope for it, but I do love flying under the Pilot Edge network. Rutnet 6 got it finally. Yes, I did. Daniel Smith, have you ever talked to Kennedy Steve on... I gotta turn this radio down. I can't even hear myself think. Did he want me to release the brakes?
139 on my Send us tell you my frequency.
I think he did.
So connected.
Oh, here it goes.
Bypass pin inserted.
The 516 to Mike, runway 29.
Brakes release, clear to push. Let me know when we can start them up.
Now touching down runway 29er. I'm not in contact with him though.
Have I ever talked to Kennedy Steve?
Appreciate the information.
I've talked to Boston John, Daniel Smith. I've heard of Boston John. I may have talked to Kennedy Steve. I'm sure at some point or another I've talked to him. It's pretty hard to recognize voices on the radio. It's, you know, you hear them on YouTube and stuff, but it's pretty difficult to actually remember when you're flying and to actually hear it. So I'm sure at some point I have. I am Dimitri says, is this the Minecraft livery? Nah, man, this is the Spirit, this is the Spirit Wings. I believe it was called the Gray... I can't remember what it... They had a name. This livery is no longer in use. I think there's 2 319s that are still flying around with this color. But since then, they've pretty much all gone to yellow. And I think there's a couple white ones left as well, but they are all going over to yellow. Which, you know, I didn't like seeing the yellow around at first, but hey man, it's free advertising. It's a lot like Southwest, how they do theirs. They got big, bright blue airplanes and, you know, the colors on the tail, so it mixes it up, you know. I like different colors. I like seeing different liveries.
2884 Delta, I believe that was you calling Sunwest Tower, report 3 mile left base.
Alright, let's go ahead and fire it up. Yeah, my frames are struggling in here today. I don't know what's going on, guys. My X-plane has just been not happy today. We got bleed pressure. Let's verify that. Yes, we do. Fire it up. Let's take a listen.
So 139 on Mike Echo, San Luis Tower, how do you read?
There's a changeover for engine 1. We got a short taxi out of here, so we're going to go ahead and fire up engine number 2.
Operation complete. Set parking brake.
Brakes set. Rear disconnect. Show me the pin out front.
Disconnecting tow. Stand by.
You know what? Let me look at my X-plane. I'm trying to see what's running here. I got 2 CEF renders. Let's go ahead and end that one. I don't know why my frames are really struggling right now.
San Luis Tower, Warrior 2884 Delta is on a 3 mile left base for runway 2984 Delta.
84 Delta, thank you, runway 29, clear to land, wind 180 at 4.
San Luis Tower, 6 Delta Mike on a left downwind.
Or 6 Delta Mike.
Alright, what do we got
Number
for...
Clear for the runway 29,
Ground
clear for the
control
option.
is
Traffic is inbound on the
23.9er.
left base. He just reported 3 miles out.
Traffic 3 miles out, cleared for the option, 6 Delta Mike.
I wonder if...
Number 6 Delta Mike, he'll either be headed to your right or to your
I wonder if
left.
something got changed in my
Possibly through your
settings
12 o'clock
here.
now as you're rolling out.
Let's turn this off. Oh, that
Traffic
might, that'll
inside,
reload
6
the
Delta
sim,
Mike.
won't it, if I do that?
For 6 Delta Mike, thank you. Follow that traffic.
Let's do a quick reload. I'm going to turn the parked aircraft off, guys. Hold on 1 second. Hopefully it doesn't mess up Pilot Edge.
47 Las Vegas Tower.
Carta Jawal says, yep, sounds way better. I can't deal with the VAT sim at the moment with the current codec.
You said you'll
Yeah,
be ready at the
is
end
it
of
pretty
your
rough?
ground,
I've
though.
heard it's a little rough.
Southwest 4047 Las Vegas Tower, runway 19 right. Clear to
Luke
take
L
off
says,
and
what do you recommend? Flight factor A320 or the TOLUS 319? Price is no factor. At the current moment, Luke L's, I would have to say I recommend the Flight Factor A320 just because of the sounds and with the BSS sound pack is really good. It's hard to beat. Now there is a BSS sound pack coming out for the TOLUS 319, and when that comes out, it will be extremely hard to not fly the TOLUS 319. So they're so close. You know, they're both great airplanes, and you just kind of have to pick what you like better, what you think you have more fun at. I'll tell you what, this Flight Factor 320 is extremely heavy on the PC. So we, you know, it's extremely heavy on your specs and your hardware and everything. So make sure you have a PC ready to run it. I mean, I'm struggling right now. Hopefully this thing will reload. I hope I didn't do something bad here. We're gonna find out. Alright, here we go. It's loaded now. Andre says Luke has A320 all the way. Yeah, man. It's tough to beat. I tell you what. Too loud now. Alright, let me turn it down. Alright, how about now? I've readjusted the volume again. Christian Bell says, at V1 Sim, despite your hard job, what motivates you to do your job in the simulator? Are you not tired by the many real legs? Is this too relaxing? You know what? What motivates me is you guys, honestly. It started out as... Uh-oh. Why do I have a black screen? Oh!
Tow is disconnected and bypassed and has been removed. Hand signal will be on the right. We'll see you next time.
I'll get right back to that. Alright, let's get flaps out. What are we doing? Flaps 2 takeoff. What motivates me is you guys, Christian. I wanted to do a tutorial flight for the Airbus when it came out. I was really excited, and then I didn't see anything on YouTube that I really loved. So I decided, you know what, if you want something done right, do it yourself. So I came out with that professional series, and then it was so welcomed by you guys that I just kind of kept running with it. And I'll continue this here in a second. Let's get an after start checklist. Engine and soft yellow electric pump is off. APU is coming off.
Negative. Just want to first request traffic advisory to Avi cruise at 7,000.
I was out of order, but we're good. All right, we're on ground. We'll get a ground clearance out of here.
316 Alpha, departure frequency 118.8, squawk 5705, stay aircraft type.
And so, Christian, while we wait to get a break on the radio here, somebody brought it up like, hey man, if you love producing content, you know, in the Airbus, why don't you try live streaming, because you spend less time editing. That was the hardest part for me, is just spending a lot of time editing, and I really wanted each video to be as quality as I could. So I take a lot of time on my edits, and that's the draining part, really. But now I can do a little bit of both. I can get edits out and live stream for you guys. All right, let's get on the radio. San Diego ground, Spirit Wings 355, ready taxi.
Cabo 4047, Las Vegas departure, radar contact.
This is just like yesterday. They ignored us. We're going to go up to the hold short line here.
1728 X-ray is holding short of 13 right at Lima.
So we're still on the ramp.
Guys, 1728 X-ray, Palm Springs Tower, runway 13 right. Clear for takeoff, wind 060 at 7.
This chick is really saturated.
28 X-ray.
Spirit Wings 355 Limber Ground. Are you ready for a taxi or are you calling for push?
We are ready to taxi for Spirit Wings 355. We didn't push onto an active. We're in the alley.
Spirit Wings 355, runway 27, taxi via Bravo.
27 via Bravo, Spirit Wings 355. Alright, don't y'all tell me that you're going to be mad because I pushed without clearance, because the last 76 times I called for push clearance and I got yelled at, so they can just sit right there. I ain't got time for angry controllers today. Whoa, track IR, what are you doing?
Thank you.
Citation 1 Lima Uniform, contact Oakland Center 127.45.
Let's do a flight control check here as we make the turn. Full up.
John Wayne clearance.
Full down. Whoa, I hit my view key. Full left. Full right. Neutral. On our rudders, we got full right. Full left. Neutral. I just need to get out of this airport. I don't know if there is a scenery conflict or what, but I've never struggled this hard with these frames like this. I apologize, guys.
San Luis Tower, Cessna 6 Delta Mike, midfield, left downwind.
For takeoff checklist, gross weight comparison is complete. Pitch trim is 28% CG set, V1, VR, V2, flex. We've got 131, 142, no flex, toga set. Flaps config 2. Flight instruments, they are checked. Flight controls checked. ECAM memo is takeoff. All green. ECAM status check. PWS is on. TCAS code set. TR8 cabin crew advised. Mini brief is complete. Runway. We're going off of runway 26. I see it out the window and... Oh, I'm sorry, 27. See it out the window and in the box there. Fuel. 10-7 required. 10-8 on board. Engine mode selector. Normal bleeds and packs are set. For takeoff checklist complete. Tower's going to be 18.3, so we'll get that in the standby here.
On departure fly heading 220, radar vectors for Seal Beach, then is filed. Time maintain 2000, expect 4000 after 10 minutes. Departure frequency 128.1, squawk 1317, 90423 Hotel.
223 Hotel, reset tracks, have request for the eyes.
Dougal says, my wife says you sound sexy. Where you from? I'm from Texas, Dougal. I'm of Italian descent. Both of my parents are 100% Italian. Well, my late father, he passed away a couple months ago. But my father and my mother, both 100% Italian. So I've got a pretty Italian last name. Not pretty, like it's, I didn't mean to say it's pretty. I meant to say it's very Italian is what I was trying to say. The radio is a bit loud. I know she is a bit loud.
3 Mike Sierra, I can go ahead and just give you a reasonable navigation now. Yeah, just,
Get rid of her.
Just for clarification.
The grayscale livery. There we go. Thank you, Tommy. Elite Gamer, how does the hydraulic system work on the Airbus? Is it all auto when you turn the engines on? Well, that's a loaded question. Yes. When both engines are running, all 3 hydraulic systems are pressurized and actively functioning in normal mode. That is correct. You can also activate a series of hydraulic systems without the engines running via the yellow electric pump, and there's also a blue hydraulic override for maintenance, which actually, if we can look at it without going off the taxiway here, it is, oh, this is scary. Back here, blue hydraulic pump override is up there on the corner on the maintenance panel. But yes, once the engines are running, the hydraulics will automatically perform the way they're supposed to, and we can take a look at that by pressing the hydraulic push button here. You can see the green system. This is the engine-driven pump right here.
launch departure.
Yellow system, engine driven.
316 Alpha runway
And then our
20
blue
Alpha Bravo.
hydraulic system. We have a electric pump right here. Here's our electric pump for the yellow electrics. And our PTU, power transfer unit. I talk a little bit about that on the Pilot series video about single engine taxi. We talk about the hydraulics and you can hear the PTU going off and stuff. So a lot going on here, but it's displayed very simply and effectively.
Southwest 4047 Los Angeles Center, climb and maintain flight level 230.
I'm going to turn down, I don't know why, I'm continuing to tweak my settings here. Restart X-Plane? Okay, well, we're not going to do that. Yeah, I don't know, I've never had FPS issues with my new system, really, especially here in San Diego, but something happened last night. I was messing with some sceneries, and I don't know, man. I launched it. That's why we had to restart the sim already, because I launched the sim and then I had it was stuck. It was like just frozen. My FPS was frozen at like 19.5 frames. Like, what the heck is going on? VSync was off, and it didn't matter what I did. So I had to reboot my PC, and it's still not right. So I'm hoping as soon as we get out of here, we get away from San Diego. I know this area is particularly heavy on frames, but maybe when we get down out of here, it'll smooth out for us. Let's hope. Am I on tower? I am. San Diego Tower, Spirit Wings 355, hold short 27, ready to go.
Spirit Wings 355, Limerick Tower, wind 28015, runway 27, clear for takeoff.
Runway 27, clear for takeoff, Spirit Wings 355. Alright, let's get out of here, guys. I've had enough of this. Lights are coming on, strobes are gone. I'm just, I don't know how bad it is for y'all, but I'm looking at a slideshow out the window here. I am praying that as soon as we get out of here, it is much better. I feel like I'm forgetting something too, so this is probably going to be an interesting takeoff. Can't even line up on the runway. This is so bad. Alright, nose forward on the sticks. Pull them up 50%. Let's go. Toga. Mantoga SRS. Runway. Auto thrust is blue. We're nose forward on the stick.
San Luis Tower.
80 knots, thrust set.
Left downwind.
Check it.
Midfield.
Going neutral by 100. There it is.
Clear for the option. 6 Delta Mike.
There's a big old bump right here. It's not there in real life, I promise you. V1. Rotate.
Southwest 4047, contact Los Angeles Center, 1.
Positive rate. Gear up. We're navin'. What was departure? 19.6? It was 19.6. Let's go autopilot 1. I ain't got time for this. Oh, we're departure. We'll see us. Spirit Wings 355. Alright, we got the autopilot driving, so I don't make a fool of myself. I should have had the departure frequency in the secondary, guys. That's a good tip if you are new to air traffic control, so you don't have to do this while you're climbing out. You can just flip the switch. Boom. Departure, good afternoon, Spirit Wings 355, 1.2, climbing via the Zoo 2. Flaps 1.
Spirit Wings 355, circuit departure, radar contact.
Why does my T-case, Why does my T-cast show standby? Probably because it's in standby mode. Lever climb. If you're new to this channel, I really apologize for the sloppiness of this stream and getting it going. We're thrust climb, auto thrust. We're coming up to our VFE retraction speed here, that S speed. So I apologize if you're a newcomer to the channel. It is normally much smoother, but I've just having some issues.
Affirmative.
Everything looks good here. Let's take a look out at and see why we are having such hard frames.
157, you copy the turn as well, heading 170.
170, Skyhawk 157.
This Batavia mod looks really nice, though. Let's not overspeed the flaps. We're going to get an auto retract here. If you guys haven't seen it, I'll show you that. 210 knots. We're going to see the flaps retract. In theory, there they go. Auto retraction on the flaps, and we can manually track the slats. Flaps 0 after takeoff checklist. Let's go ahead and kill the turn off in the taxi light because they are already off in the wheel well. Here comes our turn. Alright, let's get a look at some of these comments here. I try to get the plane going before I get too involved in the comments, and we can really chat about it. Oh man, I missed a lot. I'm sorry. We were talking about what was my motivation to get here. Yep, Dougal says I love Simon. I sure do. Push back right into the AA den, Dimitri. Yes, if we did. And we are proud to do it. Daniel Smith says, yep, a very turbulent EasyJet flight is what triggered the interest. Nice. Everything is a short taxi in K-San. Yes, it is, Dougal. It is a short taxi. It's also short getting off the runway, too. You got to make sure if you use full reverse that you use, you have enough time, you shut your engines down. 3 minutes cooldown period. Oh, this seems to be getting a little bit better.
Repeat frequency 157.
Number 157 heading.
Daniel Smith says you're going to crucify me for this, but I once took a 738 from EGKK to K. Oh my gosh, man, that's brutal. Why would you do that to yourself? I am Dimitri says I downloaded the Lasso software from Bitsum and never looked back on frames. Dimitri, I took a look into that, and I'm going to have to do some more looking. It looks like a good idea. Looks like something I want to get into. But as with anything, it takes, I want to give it some tests first. Everyone that was talking about, what was it? X-Camera. X-Camera is good. I have it. I actually have it disabled right now, or I may have removed it total. Just make sure we're not passing through 10,000 yet. And the problem with X-Camera is I really like to use Track IR, and I was having issues with X-Camera and Track IR. Like with default X-Plane camera settings, I can pause my Track IR with just a push button on my stick, and then I can shift around all the saved views that I have. Now, X-Camera is good for those, what would you call it, like save views or cinematic views, and it has a way to allow, oh, we just hit some wake turbulence there. It allows for good cinematic effects, but the problem I have is even when you allow Track IR through X-Camera, I was getting a lot of conflicting motion and I couldn't get my views right. I have a whole profile set up for Track IR through Track IR itself, so I might have to do some more tweaking, but that's the main reason why you don't see X-Camera on right now. It's because it was really affecting my Track IR. So ding, flight attendant call button, we'd hit that there. We're at 10,000 feet. It looks like it's smoothing out here. I should have started the ET when we took off or retracted the landing gear. Carta Jawal says V1 Sim. Oh yeah, you really have to listen on that sim. It's like 7-8-year-old codec. Wow. Yeah, that sounds like it would be. It sounds like it would be pretty tough. I do want to get it running though. I want to get it running when we do the Euro tour. I was just checking my fuel on board here for landing, make sure we had enough gas. That's the last thing we need is to go to San Diego without, or go to Cabo and not have enough gas. Trying to find a better view for everybody here. Ooh, yeah, that's a nice one. JCP123. I was going to go plane spotting at the new TWA hotel at JFK yesterday, but it's 100 degrees here right now. Yeah, man, JCP123. It is hot, man. It is hot here in Texas too. I was going to go fishing today. I was going to do some stuff, but man, it was just so hot. I've just been staying around the house trying to get stuff done in preparations for our baby that's coming any day now. So it is toasty all across the country. Daniel Smith, am I the only one for CFM over IAEs? Daniel Smith, I think you are, man. I don't like these engines. Flower petal reverse things? Come on, man. We got to get those IAEs on there with those big old sliding doors. And who doesn't love the sound of a sawmill at 6 o'clock in the morning going over your house, right? I always think the IAEs just sound like a sawmill. Yeah. Carter says V1 Sim. Try turning off the FOEFB. They can give you some frame rate back. One of the buttons on the side screen. I didn't even know that you could turn off the FOEFB. Oh boy. What'd you just do to me, Mang? 128.6, Spirit Wings 355. I thought you crashed my game. Oh shoot, what was that frequency? Was it 125.6? I thought the game crashed right when I hit the power button. That would have been something, huh? Yeah, this guy's having a problem with his GPS. I don't think so. Oh, that's not it. That's not the freak. That's funny. No, I'm sorry, departure for Straight Wings 355. What was that frequency again? 28.6, off by 1, thank you.
For 157, turn left heading 070. For 16 Alpha, contact base till departure.
I know those transitions are pretty rough, but... LA Center, good afternoon, Spirit Wings 355. We are 14-2, climbing 230. Alright, we're back in. Carter, yes, we turned off the EFB, that's cool. Simon Thomas says V1, I think turning down texture quality like too high and not maximum help. You know, and I would, Simone, but the thing is, I haven't messed with my settings, and I was getting 60 to 80 frames in the 320 over Southern California. With everything pretty much on high other than the reflection detail. So I don't know if that makes me think that it's something else going on in my computer. Right now my processor or my CPU is running at 55% utilization, which is a little bit higher than normal. So I don't know if I got something running in the background or what that's causing these issues, but I think I might have a conflicting scenery or something. I think that might be the key. That might be the main issue. I'll figure it out for the next one. Pilot Boy says, "Hey Cap, safe flight." Thank you, sir. Daniel Smith says, "I know I'm screwed when X-Plane stops responding and I click the screen." Exactly what happened a few days ago. Yeah, man, it's I've been pretty lucky. I haven't had too many crashes, but I say that, and today has probably been the worst day with the new rig in terms of performance. I don't know if it's just because I've been doing a lot of editing. I don't know what it is, but we're going to figure it out, and we're going to get it fixed. Mates Ria says, I'm sure I just totally messed that name up. Hi, nice stream. What you prefer more, the A320 or the Tolus 319? Man, I've talked about it a lot on this channel. I guess I'll say it again. Right now, as both aircraft stand, completely modded, you know, with the Flight Factor MATAVIA mod and the Tolus 319 with the cockpit mod and everything. The Flight Factor is just going to be ahead of the Tolus, in my opinion, solely based on sounds. I really love a failure mechanism in a simulator. TOLUS has that.
Spearwing 355, Lima Pilot has coverage area for your services are terminated. Change advisory frequency approved.
All right, thanks. Have a good day, Spirit Wings 355. All right, we are out of here. We're going to pull standard. We're just going to monitor the guard freak
Someone else calling?
so we don't have to listen. 18.4, standard set. Everything is looking good. But yeah, as far as the 319, 320 goes, it's so close, man. I think as they stand right now, the 320 is a little bit ahead of the 319. But as soon as the BSS sound pack comes out for the 319, it is going to be very hard not to fly it. So I hope that answers your question. I do have a comparison video up on my channel if you want to take a look at that. It's a little bit dated. The aircraft have been updated since then, but a lot of it is still true. So it's worth having a look, I think. Oh, there we go. Let's look at the coastline going out of here. Man, I'm sorry, I guess, for missing all these comments. They are poured in here. I missed quite a few. All right. Daniel Smith says, how do Airbus pilots turn the nose wheel? Do you guys use the rudder pedals? So, in the aircraft on the ground, most of the time we're going to be using the tiller over here. And when we do our rudder check, you press this disconnect push button here, and that allows us to manually test the rudders and not turn the nose wheel, because it is linked to the nose wheel on the ground up to a few degrees, but you have maximum turning only with the tiller. So to test full rudder deflection, you press the disconnect push button right here, do your rudders, and then release the push button, and now you're all interconnected. If you're just taxiing down in a straight line, you can stay on the center line with just the rudder pedals, you know, a little bit of left and right, back and forth. So that helps. Wow, we're going to be leaving the Fork Boy scenery, which is going to be sad, but look at the frames increase already. Let's take a look. I'm just curious. Let's take a look at these frames here real quick. So right now we're bouncing about 30-ish or so. What do you guys think about this frame rate counter? Is this accurate? I've had some people tell me that this isn't accurate, but I go by it. I think it seems pretty decent. We'll keep an eye on that as we go on down south to Cabo. Captain Kringle's holy slideshow. Yeah, man, it was a freaking slideshow. I don't know what's going on. I hope it's better for you now. LOLKOKWTF1. Do you feel like the flight factor 320? Oh boy, we're leveling off here. We don't want to level off here. Let's go on up to 35. Manage that. What was that cruise altitude? Yeah, it was 350. Perfect. Do you think that the flight factor A320 rotates way too fast, or is it like that in real life? It does feel a little fast, but I mean, it doesn't feel abnormal, I guess. I mean, I'll show you what I have for joystick settings. I think I have a video on it. Will it pause this? I think it will, yeah. Oh, alright. But the control sensitivity for my stick, this is what I'm running. And I don't know if it's supposed to be like that or not, but that's what I'm running. And for the Airbuses in general, it seems to be pretty good with both the TOLUS and the flight factor. I don't change any curves or anything between either of the two aircraft, so that's how that is. I mean, my biggest issue right now is I'm trying to get my seat and joystick mounted right in a spot that feels real, true to the real aircraft. My problem is the Warthog stick itself is actually much taller than an actual Airbus side stick. And it's so when you pull back, you have to. There's a lot more arm to the Warthog than there is in the real Airbus side stick. So I'm having some issues with that. But let's get back up here. See what's going over here. All right. Just a Dude 0815 says, "How do you decide to do a toga takeoff?" Well, I do a toga takeoff because I had the BSS sound pack and I'm not paying for engine maintenance today, so I decided to let it rip. We gave it a full send going out of San Diego. In real life, though, Just a Dude, our performance data will come out of the ACARS performance section in the McDo, and that will tell us if we're flexing or what we're flexing, and if it's a toga takeoff. And I have a video up on the Tolus 319 right now that shows you kind of what those performance sheets look like. It's a Tolus 319 performance test V2 that I just did last week, and it really it's pretty accurate. It's pretty cool to see it sim come work like that. Andre GG says, please Discord. Okay, I don't know if I can post a Discord link. Let me see if I can post a link for y'all. Getting a link right now. I know I don't have it in the description. It's because I reset the sim here. And let's see, copy this. So when I reset the sim, I lost my description. So until I can edit the video, can I paste this here? Alright, that should be our Discord channel. I think that'll come through. Alright, I hope that link came through for you guys in the comments there. I do apologize. I will get the Discord out in the description. And on any of the other videos I have out right now, if you just want to go check it out real quick and then click the Discord link and come back, you can do that as well. But I lost my whole briefing page. I lost my donors. I really apologize. I normally like to have the supporters of the channel up there in the briefing. I know I Am Dimitri is absolutely killing it. He is a firm supporter of this channel, and I really appreciate it. I appreciate all the support, guys. For, you know, even those of you that can't support monetarily, just viewing the videos and checking in and saying hello, what's up. That's what I'm doing this for, guys. I'm doing this for you. I want this channel to be content that you guys want to see. And I want to answer questions about the Airbus. I want to talk about the Airbus. I want to talk about aviation. I mean, I don't know everything about Airbus or aviation by no means, but I do love talking about it and answering where I can to help you guys out. So thank you, everybody, for supporting this channel. Milo says, I'm a newcomer to the channel. Well, Milo, glad to have you here, buddy. I hope you stick around. Everything is much smoother usually. I can't confirm. Nut6 says, yeah, I don't know what happened. Joewers182 says, I never knew it had auto to retract. Yes, it sure does. Penderson says, just subscribed. Excellent, Penderson. Glad to have the subscriptions. I'm going to have to change the subscriber sound effect, because when you guys subscribe, I get the retard audio, and it makes me think, wait, what the heck is going on with my airplane here? But in fact, it's not the airplane at all. It's just you guys subscribe it. So I do apologize for that if I don't say thank you or acknowledge your subscription. It's just because I'm thinking, wait, what happened to the airplane? What'd I do? I just ignore it. It looks like we're going to be a smooth ride. We'll get those seatbelt signs off. We'll let them run around. Got a little bit of weather up ahead of us here. That's going to be fun. Yeah, I love this. I love this livery. Spirit actually flies the IAE engines only, so this is a fictional livery. And I believe the 530 might actually be a 319 in real life. I can't recall, but this is a beautiful livery done. Just free livery on the forums there. Man, if any of you guys are livery painters, how is there not a U.S. Airways Flight Factor livery? I'm talking not the original blue U.S. Airways. I'm talking the white and blue with the white flag on the tail, the same one that crashed in the Hudson. I do not know how there is not a livery for that in the 320. I mean, that's one of the most famous 320 flights ever, and that livery is not even in, or it's not even available. So, man, if you guys know somebody that's doing liveries, or if you're good at liveries, I challenge you to check out the U.S. Airways white and blue livery. A Legionnaire A320 319. Do you fly to KCN in real life? Yes, I sure do. I was just down there. What's today? Sunday? I was there on Saturday. No, that's a lie. I was there on Friday. Friday was my last flight. I am officially on leave now until our baby comes, so I will not be flying for a while. I'm going to stay current, hopefully, flying with you guys in X-Plane, doing some streams and videos. Slam Cannon, good to have you here, buddy. Slam Cannon is actually the repo pilot that flew this aircraft to San Diego for us. So if you're unaware what a repo pilot is, in the Discord it talks a little bit about it, but I've got 10 repo pilots right now. I am going to be opening up for more slots, recruit some more repo pilots, and what we have is we have a V1 simulations fleet, and I don't just load an aircraft and do a stream. I actually have all the aircraft based at Dallas-Fort Worth, and when there's a stream about to happen, I contract it out. Repo pilots bid on it, and they position the aircraft in San Diego, and they will also position it after the stream. So it kind of it's fun. It's through Project Fly. It kind of gives you guys a reason to fly in X-Plane, and I think that's kind of fun. I love having that. You know, FS Economy does that as well. But just having a reason to get out and fly is a lot of fun. So check that out in the Discord if you're interested as well. I'll probably be recruiting for some more pilots here relatively soon. Did I shut the lights off? Yeah, I did. We can go ahead and change this to Mike Sierra Delta. And what runway is this? 116, I believe. Yep. So we can actually do this. Boom. Alright. How are we looking for climb? I'm going to actually select speed. We're going to climb out at 7.8. We're going to get up there instead of lollygagging around. We're going to increase our rate of climb. Well, good thing there's no Fork Boy out there today, because we don't have much to look at. Slam Cannon says when he flew in to San Diego this morning, it was about 26 FPS. I was having less than that, Slam Cannon, so I don't know what was going on, but I'm going to look into it. Marcus Furrer says, will you also create videos showing how to handle failures with the TOLUS A319? Yes, Marcus, I will. A lot of them I can't, for security reasons, I can't do too much. I can't really show you guys my company procedures. But if I can, there's publicly available documentation out there, and everyone like, oh, FCOM, quote the FCOM. Well, most FCOMs that are on the internet are either outdated or incorrect, or have been since then corrected and updated. When you end up working for an airline, you get an FCOM, but you really don't use it, at least in the States anyway. You get what's called, depending on where you work for, there's different names, but you get COMs, or cockpit operating manuals. You get COM 1, COM 2. COM 1 talks about aircraft normal operation. COM 2 is all abnormals and emergencies, so when you have problems, you're in the COM 2. We have an AOM, we have an FOM, and we have an AFM. So we have a bunch of different books that are all derived from the FCOM, but the company manuals are actually more restrictive than the FCOM. So sometimes you'll see discrepancies between FCOM and actual books. And, that's why. But yeah, we can definitely do some failures in the TOLUS. I really want to. I like doing the failures. I just really, really want some kind of sound pack for that TOLUS 319. Andre says, check your texture quality. If your video card has 12 GB of video memory, then you can use no compression. But if it's 8, I would just go with high settings and textures. Andre, I do... Oh boy, I don't know. I'm pretty sure I have 12. Let's take a look. 6... I don't know, I have to look. Dedicated GPU megabytes or gigabytes is 8. So just go with high settings and textures. Alright. I will take a look at that as well. Marthio Productions says, when ATC gives you a heading and then tells you to resume own navigation, does that mean follow the heading and then proceed on the flight plan, or what? Yeah, that's exactly what it means. So it says, fly heading, resume own nav. Basically, they're giving you a heading. Most likely that heading will be to your course, or a heading to intercept your course, what you have planned. And yeah, resume own nav, boom, you're on your own. They're cutting you loose. Your flight path is clear. to continue navigating where you need to be. Mike says, can you explain EPR? I can do a quick explanation of EPR or EPR. So unfortunately, in the CFMs here, we have we have CFMs in this plane, so we have actual N1. But EPR, in so many words, it's your engine pressure ratio, and the engine pressure ratio is a ratio between bypass air and like jet air, jet propulsion. So you have, if you look from the back, we can see if we can get a view here. So all the air around the hot section or the core of the engine is called bypass air. All this jet propulsion coming out of the hot section of the engine is your, I'm drawing a blank, not ram air, but it's, oh man, I'm drawing a blank. It's the, I'm sure one of you guys know in the comments, but it's, you have your bypass air and then you have your jet air. And the EPR is the ratio between the bypass and the actual ignited air that's been compressed through the hot section and the core of the engine. So that's what EPR is, and it just reads out, you know, on a gauge very similar to the N1, just in different number settings. It's 1 point something, 1.5, 1.15, etc. So the old school engines, such as the I believe it was just, the JT8Ds had them, but the old turbo jets, they didn't have any bypass air. So that was just straight up, super loud, compressed, heated, fuel introduced, ignited, and out the back. That's all that engine did, and they were extremely loud. And that's why, as we move on in times, if you look at the Neo engines, the new engine options on the 320 family, they are giant, and they have a huge fan section and just a very small hot section in the middle of the engine. But that really helps with your performance at low altitude. Up at higher altitudes where the air is less dense, it actually hurts you a little bit. The Neo is kind of a dog once you get up above 28,000 feet. But down low, you have all that bypass air, and it actually does help your performance down low. But another huge factor to that big bypass fan is really reduces noise. The noise is extremely reduced than just having a straight turbo jet. You know, most fighter jets are straight turbo jets. Some old corporate jets were straight turbo jet, and they were very loud. My buddy flew a Lear, I want to say it was a 31, but they actually had restrictions going in and out of airports because it was so loud. They do reduced power takeoffs just so they don't break the decibel limit coming out of the airports, because you would set off car alarms and everything is so loud. But that's all kind of being washed away now with all these new engines coming out. We've got a very large fan section and get a lot of bypass air, keeps it nice and quiet. But you will lose some of that high altitude performance because you're not getting as much compression and as much jet air than you would if you just had a big straight turbo jet. That's a very, broad example. I hope that answers your question a little bit. Josh Cherney says, hey, V1, do you usually use flaps 2 when departing from San Diego? It just depends, man. It really depends on your loadout. It depends on the weather. I believe, well, the last time I was in there on Friday, it was actually a 319 we were in there with, and we used, I want to say it was flaps 1, but we only had like 99 people coming out, so pretty light load. It was a flaps 1. Tron says, what are the bugs and LS buttons on your backup artificial horizon? Let's take a look at that. My frames are much better now, and maybe it's just something going on over there in Southern Cal. But on the artificial horizon, on the standby, we've got bugs, which you could set your speed bugs, your V1, VR, V2, etc. And then LS is your localizer and slope. No, I did that wrong. Localizer and slope over here. So you can have, if you have a really bad day, and we actually do it in the sim when you're training, and if you find yourself flying off this, you have a bad day going on over here. But essentially, it allows you to fly an ILS approach from your standby attitude indicator over here. These two plus and minuses are just brightness control. And then, of course, your barrel, which I should have set to standard. There we go, at 350. So that's just the, I'm going to also manage that up and get a move on. All right, we are leveled off in cruise, accelerating. Let's get a flyby. Gotta love it. I don't feel so bad about not having any Fork Boy ortho scenery down here, since it's all cloudy. It's weird though, I mean, going into Orbix with the flight factor and TOLUS, I get much better frames than I did coming out of San Diego with just some ortho scenery, so who knows. Let's go back over... I'm tired of looking out. Let's go this side. Dan Smith, has been raining the last few days. Oh man. Well, that good thing about rain is you can flight sim more, right? All right. Let's see. Where did I go? I lost comments here a little bit. Skipped a few, I apologize. Teo Pascal says, hey man, I was watching your last stream on the TOLUS 319, and I was wondering if there's a confirmed BSS sound pack for the aircraft. And there is. I can confirm it that there is a BSS sound pack for the 319. That's pretty much all I know, is that it's confirmed. I have no idea what the progress is or when there's an expected release date, but I did hear that it is confirmed, and I can confirm it myself. India Virtual Aviation says, now the flight factor A320 super smooth and stable after new update. That's good news, man. India Virtual, I will be updating, if it is in fact a stable update, I will be updating as soon as we land in Cabo and we end the stream. OT, hey, what's up? How's it going, man? I just got the TOLUS, and so far I love it. It hand flies so nicely compared to the Zibo. Yeah. Oh, we got a super chat coming in. Marcus Furrer, thanks so much for all your videos. Hey, man, thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate the support. Thank you for contributing and supporting the channel, man. I'm glad I can help you out. I'm glad that you are enjoying the content coming out of here. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. Pilot Boy says, oh, I'm sorry, for OT, hand flies so nicely. You know, and I'll tell you what, OT, a lot of people get in the Airbus and they think that, oh, Airbus, you can't hand fly it. This is the Matavia blue cockpit. I don't know if I like it. I might have to go to the gray cockpit. I do have the Matavia mod installed. I know it's not linked in the description. I will fix it after this video. But people think, oh, Airbus, you can't hand fly it. I will tell you what, guys. The Airbus hand flies beautifully. And I hand fly it all the time in real life. And a matter of fact, you know, people say, oh, you can't turn the auto thrust. Of course you can turn the auto thrust off. The aircraft is still an airplane, and for my last flight on Friday, I just hand flew. I flew both legs, and I hand flew them. Not cruise, I did autopilot for cruising. But coming in through 10,000 feet, you know, I just said I'm gonna turn everything off and hand fly it because I wanted to get that last little bit of experience. I don't know when I'm gonna be going back. It's gonna be at least a couple of weeks. And the aircraft flies wonderfully in real life, and it does in the sim too. You don't be afraid to turn your auto thrust off and turn the autopilot off and hand fly, just like you would, you know, the Zibo or any other airplane. And it's going to be a little bit easier. You don't have to manually trim, so you will not be using the trim. The aircraft will still auto trim for you as long as you are in normal law. But it does hand fly very nice, and it's, I tell you what, in real life, it is a joy to hand fly. It's so fun. It's smooth. It's great. So I encourage you guys, if you're flying your Airbus, your TOLUS, or your flight factor, and you're just always doing autopilot, challenge yourself. Turn that off and hand fly. One thing I will say, though, about hand flying, guys, flight directors, if you are not going to be following your flight director commands, you need to turn them both off. And with the auto thrust off, it's not so much of an issue. But if you were just hand flying with the auto thrust on and you left a flight director on, you're going to get into issues with power. So I'll talk about it thoroughly in a different video, hopefully. Well, maybe I'll do a whole hand flying tutorial video, or just, you know, hand flying tips, just something short. But Dougal coming in with the $10 donation. Dougal, I appreciate the support, man. Thank you. Thank you, buddy. I'm really glad that you're enjoying the content. So I'm gonna keep giving it out, and I really appreciate your support and having you guys here and enjoying this channel. Thank you, Dougal. Huge shout out to you, big supporter. Appreciate it, man. So what was I saying? Yeah, maybe I'll do a mini series on hand flying tips, but if you turn the auto thrust off and the autopilot off, then you don't have to worry too much about the flight directors, but I still would highly encourage you to do it. I always trained when I was, training captain and everything, no matter where I trained, what airplane it was, always taught, if you have flight directors, you need to follow them, and if you're not, then you turn them off. You always want to follow your flight directors, and if you're not going to, which is totally fine, turn them off, because it can lead to confusing situations when you get into certain aircraft, and the Airbus is one of those airplanes where it will bite you. Matter of fact, if you get a TA or a TCAS conflict, and you have to do, not a TA, an RA, so a resolution advisory, where it says descend, descend. So if I were to descend, and I would just turn the autopilot off and push the stick forward and nose down, this flight director is still in altitude hold mode. So it's going to go up, even though I pitch down. What is the engines going to do? What are the engines going to do? They're going to increase thrust because they think that you can't hold altitude. So if you pitch down for an RA, all of a sudden you're going to have max power because the engines are trying to meet the flight director bar up here, which is still an altitude hold. So then you can get an overspeed because you're pitching down and your thrust is increasing. So that is a situation where it's very important, if you're going to hand fly, turn your flight directors off, and you got to turn both of them off. So there's a couple memory items in the Airbus. One is for that TCAS RA. First thing we do, autopilot, flight directors come off. That's the memorization item. Autopilot, flight directors off, and then comply with whatever the resolutionary advisory is. So it's a tidbit on that. But yeah, I encourage you guys to hand fly it. It's a blast to hand fly. It really is. Pilot Boy says, have you ever gotten a GP or a GipWiz 1,000-foot call out when a plane passed underneath you? Absolutely, Pilot Boy. It is scary, man. I've gotten a GipWiz a couple times. Closer than 1,000 feet, actually. So going into Kennedy, when I was flying at the regional level, we had a pretty close RA. There was a civilian GA plane. I want to say it was a twin Cessna or a 310 or something along those lines, and he violated his clearance, and we were descending, and he was climbing. He was supposed to level off. He didn't level off, and we got a climb RA, and it was pretty close. It'll wake you up. So it's not to be taken lightly, and it's not to be messed around with. The whole TCAS situation. Captain Kringles, yes, there's a default scenery coming up. Marcus says, what do you do if you're delayed? Do you change the cost index? You can, but changing the cost index, you're also going to increase your rate of fuel consumption. So you want to make sure you have enough fuel to do so, and that'll vary on where you work. I know a lot of guys that fly over in Europe or UK, you can't alter the cost index, as far as I'm aware, without authorization. Where we work, or where I work, you can alter the cost index as long as you have enough fuel for it, right? So don't want to put yourself in a bad position. But yeah, we do alter it sometimes. Not much. It's either going to be a cost index of somewhere between 25 and 35 to 75 and 99. That's pretty much the most common numbers you see in the cost index. And the whole cost index thing, it really doesn't do much unless you're in flights in excess of 3 hours, I would say. Once you start flying over 3 hours en route, then your cost index is really going to make a difference on your fuel consumption and burn like that. So short flights, it's not too much of a difference. Maybe 100 pounds here or two later. Rutnut 6 says, hey, I've got to head out. See you guys later. I'll see you, Rutnut. Thanks for checking in, man. Slam Canna says, at V1 Sim, look into a desk mount like a Monster Tech mount for your Warthog and put it right in line with the chair's armrest, you won't go back. Okay, I do have a desk mount. I think it's a JPEN or JPEIN mount, and it's very maneuverable. I can customize it, and I'm pretty sure I have it where I want it now, so I am happy with it now. I recently just got a chair for my desk that has an armrest, So I think I'm happy with it now. We'll find out here on this landing how I like it, but I will keep that in mind. I think I have heard of the Monster Tech mounts before. SimNation says, do we have lateral fixed page simulated so that we can draw DME circles on the ND? A DME, let's see here. I don't like playing around too much in the box with this thing because it just crashed me a couple times. At least during live streams anyways, I don't like playing around with it. So you want to know a lateral revision. We have our step altitudes. We can't do that, unfortunately. And if you're talking about an offset, let's see. Oops, let's see if we can do. We do it. There's Musu. I don't see the lateral revision page here either, unfortunately. Let's see. No, we do have a fixed info page. You can set up whatever you want in the fixed info. That works to its full extent. Oh, here we go. Offset. I was on the wrong side. There we go. That was vertical revisions. Lateral revisions on the left. Offset is not allowed from there, from PPAWS. What about from Axoma? Nope. So it does not look like the lateral revision page is modeled. Or I'm sorry, not the lateral revision page, but the offset page. Which is a shame. I'd really like to show you guys offsets, especially when we go over to Europe and we're flying the tracks. An offset is very important for weather deviation. Sometimes they don't allow you to fly a certain heading for a certain distance because you're going to start interfering with traffic. And we call them track routes going across the Atlantic. Even going down south in South America and stuff like that. You don't want to be deviating from your airway very far or at an unknown amount. So what we do is use I just lost my train of thought. What we do is use lateral offset so you can set a specific distance from your course. You can say I want to offset 10 miles from Oksama to the left, and it will draw, and it says I want to rejoin at IMSU, and it will actually draw a lateral offset for you. So if you're painting a cell of weather out here, you could say, hey, air traffic control, I need a 10-mile offset for the next 150 miles. And you can see exactly where that's going to be. So it does come in handy in the real aircraft. We got another super chat coming in. Aviator, Aviator, $5. Great content, Captain. Thanks for sharing the knowledge. Awesome, man. I am glad to. I'm glad to share. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Thank you so much for your support and tuning in and donating, man. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. All right, catch back up. I'm catching up. I'm trying to catch up these comments. I'm trying to catch up. I really need a cerveza. Really need a cerveza. A couple more and I'm going to run grab a cerveza. It'll be less than 60 seconds. All right, where am I? I apologize if I skip some. Captain Crinkles says there was a white and blue U.S. Airways for the flight factor 320. There is a white and blue U.S. Airways. Captain Crinkles, I'm calling you a liar. At least I hope not, because if there is, I really got to find it. And I'm not referring to the all blue livery. So don't mistake me for the all, where it's pretty much all blue. I'm actually talking about the one it's got a blue belly. It's all white. There's some gray striping, and there's a red stripe, I believe, and then a blue tail with a white flag. So if it's the same livery, it was the last livery that U.S. Airways had before they merged with American. So that's the one I'm referring to, not the all blue one, which was prior, which was an older livery. So, but if there really is one, Captain Kringles, hit me up in the Discord and send me a link there, and I would love to check it out. That would be great if there is. That would be my new favorite livery. We probably wouldn't fly anything else. Dougal says, add V1 Sim. I sailed into the Baja Cortez. It's from San Diego in a Catalina 27. Great place to scuba and catch big fish. Dougal, that sounds awesome, man. I bet that water was warm too. I know that's why the great whites go up there to have pups. I think that's kind of cool. I mean, we've never videographed great white sharks giving birth, but we see them all going up. We always find them pregnant going into the Baja, and then we see them coming out not pregnant, but it's never been caught on camera. That's kind of interesting. So I bet there's a bunch of tiny little sharks swimming around down there. Stuart Aslet says, congratulations with the baby. Good luck, exciting times. Thank you, sir. I'm Dimitri. Ask if you're up for it. Do a VOR DME into runway 15 at KMTN. Is one big DME arc. Each fixed along the approach is a DME radial, and the final approach course is constantly curving. Dimitri, sweet, man. I am up for that challenge. That sounds fun. We're going to do that. I'm going to go ahead and put it down. KMTN. Remind me where that is. AMTN. I feel like I have... Is that Montana? I feel like I've seen that identifier before. Let me know which one it is, but that sounds fun. I'm going to write it down. We're going to do that. I love DME arcs, man. It's a lot of fun. And the Airbus makes the DME arcs so easy. So easy. Wojtek says, great news, baby, is coming, and we'll see you more often, I hope. Absolutely. Well, I hope so. I'm going to be around for a couple of weeks, guys. I'm on leave, so this is how I will be keeping current. Danielle Smith, what airport is MSD? That is San Jose del Cabo. We do have a scenery down there, so hopefully it'll look nice and pretty when we get into Cabo. Tommy Monroe says, I missed the U.S. Airways livery. I flew them back before the merger through Charlotte a lot, and now I have to go jet photos. I know. Tommy Monroe, what's up with it, man? We need that livery and X-Plane. Can we repo in P3D? Just a dude, 0815. Oh, I don't know, man. I don't think so. Well, actually, I don't know. Can we? Because if it's Project Fly, or is Project Fly only for X-Plane? You let me know. Dougal says the Baja is 860 miles north of nothing but the Hotel California. Yes, I feel like we need to have some Eagles on the radio right now. Captain Geo says, how can I join? I want to be a repo pilot for the 319. That'd be great. V1 Sim. Captain Geo, I know I'm late on these comments here, but if you're still listening, send me a PM on the Discord channel, and I will put you on the list for repo, and we'll get you set up for that. Anybody who has been a monetary supporter of the channel, I want to automatically include you into the repo pool if that is something you're interested in doing. I mentioned it in the last stream. So if you missed the original window where I was recruiting for 10 repo pilots, if you have been a monetary supporter of the channel, I want to thank you as well. So you're automatically included if it is something that you want to do. The only prerequisite really is I just ask that you have familiarity with Project Fly, and that's about it. It's very simple. We post the contracts. The contracts will pop up. I'll ping the repo pilots in Discord, and then it's pretty much first come, first serve on the bidding. And I tried to equal out the flying for repos so that we don't have one guy that's done 3 repo flights and someone who hasn't done any. So I tried to spread it all out, and everybody will have a repo flight before somebody does 2, unless no one bids on it or no one wants to do it. So, yeah, Captain Geo, go ahead and hit me up in the Discord. We'll get you set up for that. Daniel Smith, can you reenact U.S. Airways 1549? Cactus 1549. We're going to be in the Hudson. Daniel Smith, we might have to do that. That sounds like a good idea. It's just kind of, it's popped, now that you mention it, it sounds like that would be kind of fun, wouldn't it? We'll just do a full reenactment, Cactus 1549. Would I do it as a live stream, though? I think I'd have to do it as a movie edited, and I'll do my best rendition of it. That might be something to do. I'll put it down in my notes of good ideas of things to do. That definitely sounds like a good idea. Sven Cardinal, hello from Germany. Hello. Good to have you here. I've got some friends that I play a lot of flight sims with, including Digital Combat Simulator, that are in Germany. I do fly a lot of DCS as well. Good to have you here, buddy. Captain Kringle says that V1 Sim, search U.S. Airways Flight Factor 320 Ultimate for the Hudson livery. Captain Kringles, you're playing with my heartstrings right now, so I'm going to do this right now on my second monitor here. Excuse me for taking a second from the comments. Captain Kringles says there is one. Are you serious? Are you serious? Captain Kringles, you just made my frickin' month, man. You just made my month. Wow. Okay, I'm going to be downloading that. I'm going to download it right now, actually. Captain Geo, $2 super chat. Roger that. Thank you, Geo. I appreciate it, buddy. You got it. Thank you, sir. Wow. The U.S. Airways livery is in the store. Can you guys see these links when I post them? Here, I'll post a link for you guys right now. I don't know if you guys can read or click on the links that I post, but wow. I'm so happy right now. I'm going to have to go get a Cerveza on that. Give me 60 seconds, guys. I will be right back. I am so happy that there's a U.S. Airways livery for the Flight Factor 320. I've got to go get a Corona. Be right back. All right, we are back. I apologize for that, guys. While I was away, Brian, $10 coming in. Donation from one dad to another. Welcome to Daddyhood. It makes us better. This is for formula. I appreciate it, Brian. Thank you so much, man, for the donation. Thanks for the support. You guys are awesome. Somebody asked earlier on the stream what motivates me to do this, even though I do it in real life. And this right here, guys. You guys interacting with me and just being able to chat and talk aviation, this is my motivation for it. I love doing this. I'm a teacher at heart. I love instructing, and this is just another way that I can get information out there for you guys. So awesome. Thank you, Brian. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate it. We've got the Cerveza. We got Cactus Airways livery is downloaded. I wish I could change the skin right now in flight. All right, let's get back to something. Stuart Aslet says, what's the blanked off panel directly above the McDo? Seen other real world Airbus have a few buttons in that area. Let's take a look. So you're talking about in the McDo right here? Yeah, so it kind of depends on what airline you work for and what options they have set for their aircraft. Now, the ones we fly don't really have anything here. We use this for... what we use it for is we actually print out the paperwork from the ACARs right here, and we pin it right here in these windows. But I've seen cockpit camera systems mounted here. I've seen a couple other data link functions, air traffic control stuff. I've seen, I'm trying to think of a few other things I've seen, but it really varies on the manufacturer. I'm sorry, not the manufacturer, on the owner of the aircraft and what options they want. I mean, there's airplanes that don't even have this right here, so it really just depends. You can lay out the cockpit completely different. We have a few Airbuses that were actually destined for a Chinese carrier at one point, and I guess something happened and we ended up getting them, and there's a couple different things. I mean, they have a cockpit camera system. They have a couple more buttons up here for, I think, like a third localizer and glide slope antenna. I don't know what is stuff that I've never seen before. But yeah, the Airbus, man, you can really customize it. That's why operators love them. You can really customize it into something that your operation needs. And yeah, I wish I had a better answer for you, but that's all I know, really. OT says, do you fly 321 Neos at all? Yes, I do. I haven't flown a Neo in a little bit, though. It's been a while since I've flown a Neo, but yes, I do fly them. Carda J. Wall says, I linked it. All right, well, man, I wish I would have seen that earlier. But, yeah. Daniel Smith's, why are the engines so quiet? I don't think they seem too quiet. We're just up here at cruise right now. You can change, guys, if you have the BSS sound pack, what I love about it too is you can change this volume 3D here. And I've got, you know, these are my settings. I find it about right. And it may be quieter for you because I have my desktop audio down. Let me turn it up a little bit. You guys let me know if it starts to get too loud. But I have the desktop audio down a little bit for you guys, so I actually hear it a little bit louder than you because I want you guys to hear my voice over the sim, obviously. But let me know if that volume adjustment is okay. The flyby sounds are still pretty good. But not, I mean, could be better, but I mean, as far as the interior sounds, I feel like I'm in the real airplane. Especially from up front, guys. The way that you hear things from up front, I'll post my sound settings again if you want to copy them down. This is what I run. But from an internal cockpit point of view, it's very accurate. Minus the PTU sound. You really don't, unfortunately, you really don't hear the PTU from the cockpit unless you're in a 319. Then you hear it. So. Alright, Tommy Monroe, crazy heat across all the U.S. I've been in Chicago where the heat index has been 105. Ooh, that's nasty, man. That's nasty. I'm Dimitri Forkboy. Doesn't cover Mexico, but there's a nice HD mesh from a Pilot X. Really? I'll have to check that out. Although I don't know if I'm... For some reason, man, that... Coming out of San Diego, we were bricked on frames. Let's take a look at some nice default scenery. What do you say? Yeah, I don't like the Matavia Blue very much. This is the Matavia Blue cockpit, and then there's the Matavia Green. Yeah, we're not even gonna look at that. Let's look out at the wings. Wings are much nicer. Daniel Smith says, why does it say Microsoft Flight Simulator X in the description? Daniel Smith, that's because my original stream, I had technical problems, so I shut everything down, canceled everything, and then I just quickly relaunched YouTube, and I fired up the stream without doing any edits. I didn't put anything in the description yet, so it probably just auto-selected Flight Simulator X. So I apologize for that, but once the stream concludes, I'll be able to put everything in the description and get all the mods I've used, everything linked up for you. If you've watched my last stream, all the mods and everything are still there, the ones that I use. I haven't changed anything from the last stream other than X Camera, which I'm still working with. I'm having a problem with Track IR. I really like the cinematic views, but if it won't let me use my Track IR, it's going to be hard for me to use full time. Tron says, I know this is a loaded question. Nope. Oh, Pizzicar coming in. $20 donation, man. He says, keep up the effort. It's appreciated. Pizzicar, thank you, buddy. I really appreciate the support. I am glad that you appreciate the content, and I'm gonna keep rolling with it. I really love doing it. So thank you so much for that donation. Tron says, I know this is a loaded question, so I'm going to stop right there, have a sip of my cerveza. But how did you get started in aviation? What was your route for training, hour building, and jobs leading to now? I know, massive delay is rough. I'm really trying to catch up with the comments. There's quite a few of you in here today, man. There's a lot of comments, so I'm trying. My route for training was pretty much civilian all the way through. I actually, believe it or not, I originally wanted to fly medevac helicopters. That was my kind of, I think, my original passion was I thought it would be so cool to be able to take guys out from the ground that need help and be able to evacuate them. So medevac was kind of my first look into aviation. So I kind of started looking at other things aviation. I was like, all right, I want to get. Then I saw fixed wing. Well, fixed wing is pretty cool. There's some really cool stuff. And so I went to Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University, and I started on my private pilot license. And I ended up chasing a girl around. I switched campuses, and I realized that I was going to run out of money if I stayed at the university and did my flight training. So I finished up my private pilot license there. I left the campus and actually did my schoolwork through the online campus. So I did a separate degree online, not on campus, and I saved a lot of money. And what I did then is I went to a local flight school and got all my ratings and got all of my other licenses. So I got my private pilot at Embry-Riddle, and then what I did is I got my instrument, commercial, multi-commercial, commercial instruments, flight instructor, CFII. I got all of that, and it was pretty much the same price as my private pilot at the university. That's how expensive the university route was. And once I was an instructor, I kind of, by word of mouth, I was blessed. I fell into a civil aviation job of flying corporate jets. It was Part 91, and it was word of mouth. It was a friend of my father, and he was flying around. He needed somebody, so I kind of got my foot in the door to really the commercial side and private side. And I thought, man, I want to fly corporate jets for the rest of my life. This is cool. I flew Citations. Matter of fact, the Coronado 550 Bravo is first Citation jet that I ever flew. My first jet landing was in a Citation 550. And so I flew that around a bunch. Then I flew the CJ1, CJ2, and I was like, okay, this is going to be cool. This is going to be a cool career. Then I met my wife, and I quickly realized that I probably would not be able to maintain a relationship flying the corporate pilot lifestyle. So I decided, well, I'm going to go the airline route. And at this point, I had so much civilian background, I kind of looked away from going back. I kind of thought about, what about OCS school and going that route, maybe try to get into the military after already having my degree and doing an officer candidate program, etc. But it really, my wife kind of blew me away, right? So I pretty much stayed with the civilian route, and I needed, from flying jets, what I really needed was something a little bit more stable. So I went into cargo. I started flying freight, and you could hire, at the time it was pretty much ATP minimums, which 1,500 hours were required to get onto a Part 135 operation flying cargo, and I got on with that. I started in pistons, started flying turboprops, Beech 99s, 1900s, King Air, and that built up my time significantly to where I was able to get my foot in the door at the regional level. I flew regional airlines, and then eventually I got on with a major carrier, and that's where I am now, and I've never really looked back. But that's kind of the route that I took. I still love helicopters. I still love military jets. That's why I still fly. I fly a lot of Digital Combat Simulator. I think that's a great sim. But that was kind of my route. That's how I went. As far as hour building went, I did a lot of flight instruction, and I did that corporate flying on the side, and then pretty much freight was where I built the rest of my time building, was flying cargo. So because you were flying every day of the week with that. So Joers 182, that's an interesting point. I never thought the autothrust would follow the flight directors even if you were hand flying. Yes, it will. That's why it's very important that you turn them off if you are going to be hand flying with the autothrust on. Now, there's a difference between autopilot on and autothrust on. If your autothrust is off and your autopilot is off, you're going to be safe. But if you have the autopilot off and the autothrust on, and you start flying around not following the flight directors, then you're going to run into issues. Alright, Daniel Smith says, have you ever just gotten into the 320 in the sim and just messed about, completely ignoring any rules? Yeah, so, funny story, Daniel Smith. Actually, when I passed my initial type ride on the Airbus, on the 320, we had some extra time, so the Czech airman was like, alright, we were in, I believe it was San Francisco. We were sitting on the runway in San Francisco, and he said, you're both going to fly one pattern. You're going to take off, come back around, and land as fast as you can. The guy who does it fastest wins. The loser has to buy drinks. But the catch was you couldn't exceed any limitations of the airplane. So you couldn't just, go 250 knots, throw the flaps out, and start overspeeding. You had to do everything within limits of the airplane, but it was a timed, just a loop back around. So that was fun. We just kind of mess around doing that. We've also practiced simulated air-to-air refueling. You put a 747 up in cruise, and then you fly the Airbus right up below it, and what we would try to do is it didn't have a collision model on at that point, and we would try to fly the nose of the Airbus right into the engine nacelle, or the tail cone of the 747, just to simulate refueling. And it's much harder it was pretty hard. I've never refueled an aircraft in real life, in the air, obviously. So I can imagine it is quite the challenge. I don't know how accurate that would be that we did in the sim, but it was a lot of fun. And we have done our fair share of messing around after the work got done, and you know, we got everything taken care of course. Pilot Boy, could you demonstrate a direct landing or direct law landing for us? Oh boy, Pilot Boy, I could. I'd rather not in this stream. I do have a direct law. I've got a whole, if you watch the comparison video of the Flight Factor and TOLUS, I know it's outdated, but the flight models are pretty much the same, other than I know TOLUS for a fact went back and actually fixed some of their alternate and direct law behavior. So that was really cool. But I did do some explanation of direct law and alternate law flying in that video. I want to do an RNAV approach today. That's why I just want to kind of keep it into keep everything kosher for now. Mike says, have you ever seen a UFO in flight? I've seen some interesting stuff, Mike. I've seen some interesting stuff. I've heard some interesting stuff as well. Alright, skipping through here a little bit to get back up to, because we've got to start preparing here. Dimitri says, MTN, Martin State Airport in Baltimore. Oh, I was way off. Okay, no, I'm unfamiliar with that, but we were going to check it out, Dimitri. Daniel Smith says, I've used Project Fly for X-Plane and FSX, P3D works too. Cool. Alright, well, we might be able to get the, P3Ders to repo. Rashid asks, are you excited for the new Top Gun? Absolutely, man. I am super excited for the new Top Gun. Who wouldn't be? Seeing Tom Cruise in a pressure suit was a little interesting. I don't know what that was all about. Hopefully it's for a good reason. Maybe he's in an SR-71 or a U-2 or something. But when he was talking in that trailer and he's wearing a pressure suit, don't start getting all crazy with me, Hollywood. Captain Kringle says, my pleasure, glad to help. Thank you, sir. Big D1 channel, how do you message privately? In Discord, you should be able to find me as V1 Sim and just, you can right-click on my name or something and send me a message. Daniel Smith says, I know EasyJet has them. I visited one of their cockpits in February. Oh, Dennis says the JAR Airbus has METAR information there. Yeah, you could put, I've actually, I don't know if it was a METAR reading thing, but I have seen some weather-related stuff here as well. Wingman, what group do you fly with on DCS? I fly with WD or the War Dogs. So, OT, do you ever consider upgrading a bigger plane? We'll see, man. I love, everybody has a different path and goal to what they want to get to in this career, right? So some guys, their goal is to get in a wide body 777, fly long haul. Some guys, they'd rather just go to San Diego and back, be home for dinner or be home for lunch, whatever it is. So it really depends on the person. For me personally, right now where I'm at in my life, I want to be home as much as possible, but I still love flying. So being able to be on a narrow body and do, shorter flights, which we still do some long ones. I mean, we go down to South America in the single aisle. We go out to the islands. I mean, we can do some long legs in the Airbus, upwards of 6.5. You start doing transcons, you'd be 6.5 hours. Lima, Peru is six plus hours. So you can still go to those far places. But for me, I've said before, after about 3 hours in the cockpit, I'm ready to get out. I'm ready. I know there's crew rest bunks in a 777 and whatnot, and you can stand up and get in the back, but you're still on an airplane. So for me, it's kind of, I enjoy the smaller, narrow body for now. There's a good article out on the internet. I believe it's called A Little Boeing, Big Story. And it's written by an American Airlines pilot on the 737. And he talks about exactly what I'm kind of talking to you guys about right now. Is he talks about, the long haul aspect and what you do in long haul, and then the difference. It's two different lifestyles, really. And both are great, and neither one of them is wrong. It just depends on what you are looking to get out of for your career. So Little Boeing, Big Life, I think is the title of the article. You might be able to find it. on Google or whatnot. It's a great read if you're into that. Dougal says, when I add the Matavia mod, some cockpit buttons go from black to gray. Interesting. I don't know, Dougal. Are you running the beta? Because if you're running the beta, I know there is issues with the Matavia mod. You have to be on the latest version of stable, and I don't know if this latest update will mess with the Matavia mod. So that's going to be kind of a hit or miss thing. I don't know. I really don't want to go back to the default airplane. If it's, or default if I can't use Matavia mod. We'll have to see. The particular airways livery could be outdated because of the recent changes to the flight factor. I haven't used it with. It's worth it. It's worth a try, Christian Bell. We're going to give it a shot. Theo Pascal says, "Is it easy to have a relationship by being a pilot?" You know, it can be tough. It definitely can be tough at times. You really need you need to have the right woman. I'll just say that, because you'll meet a lot of guys on the road that have been divorced a couple times, and they, you know, kind of one of the sayings is you're not a real pilot until you've had your second divorce. It takes a special kind of woman to have this kind of lifestyle, and you know, I got blessed to run into my wife. She's supported me from the beginning and never stopped, you know. So, and there's definitely, you know, guys don't do this career to get rich. So there's a lot of hard times and there's a lot of struggles, especially coming up through the ranks, that a lot of people aren't really aware of. You know, oh, you're a pilot, you make so much money. Man, we had a one-bedroom apartment in Oakland, California, that we had no furniture for the better part of 2 years. You know, our mattress was on the floor, and but we still, you know, we got through it together, and we had a lot of fun. We often reference it and look back to that time in our life, because we had nothing when you look at the, you know, the tangible side of life. Like, we didn't have toys, we didn't have boats, cars. I had my truck, and that was it. And we had an apartment. That's all we had on the tangible side of things. But we had a great time, and we loved it. So it does take the right kind of woman to do this career. I will tell you that. Especially being gone all the time. Like, you really have to have solid trust, solid foundation. Because if you're out on the road and you're constantly thinking about what your woman's doing at home, that's just going to drain on you. That's really going to be tough. All right, so we actually don't want to land on 1.6 here. We're going to do a runway change. Oh wait, do we want to land on 1.6? Or 3.4? I'm looking at my charts here. No, RNP 1.6. Okay, yeah. RNP 1.6. Let's go ahead and look at the plan mode. Let's get this set up here so we can continue reading. Oh, we're going to branch out to a NECO. Unfortunately, guys, I couldn't get any charts. Uh-oh, what'd I do? Oh, I just popped the air brakes. What the heck was that all about? I hit the wrong binding. All right, I don't have any charts for Cabo and Avitab, so until I get Navigraph set up, we're just gonna have to get through it here. So we're gonna branch off to NECO, which is the first fix on the NECO 1 Alpha. That's gonna take us down to Marux, and then we're going to fly into Merak, which is at about 4,000 feet, and then from there we branch off right into the RNP runway 16 into Cabo, to SD 800, which is right there. SD 801, that is our final approach fix, all the way into that. I forgot to go miss, there is our hold. Okay, so that's in the box, that looks good. Let's look at our progress. We have Mike Bikes here, Delta, perf page. Next, we're going to descend at 79er. Oops. And 310. Actually, we're always high on fast going into Mexico for some reason, so we're going to go 79300. Let's check out the weather down there. Hopefully we can check it out. Ooh. We'll get it from here. This isn't the airport we're going to, but it should be close enough. 3,000 few, 2,200 few, 110, 320 at 12. What? Is it really 320 and 12? Man, we may have to land with a tailwind. That's not cool. Oops. Get a little bit closer before we fill out the rest. The MDA for the RNAV to 16 is going to be 920 feet plus 50, so it's actually going to be 970. An MDA only, not a DA. We got to add 50 feet for our company procedures. So that's 970 feet. Our fuel is good. We got 2 hours 23 minutes extra time. That fuel is good. Secondary, we're just going to go ahead and copy the active in case we need it, and then we would send perf landing numbers. We're going to be doing an RNAV 16 into San Jose del Cabo today. Final approach course is going to be 166 degrees. Minimum altitude at the final approach fix SD801 is 2,000 feet. The minimums is, this should pop up, this bothers me, should pop up below 250 miles, nautical miles. But the MDA is 970, we would be looking for that right here. MDA will be 970. Touchdown is 374 feet. A sector altitude, we got a couple of them today. The highest sector altitude around Cabo is 7,900 feet. That's off to the northwest of the airport. There's some mountains down there. It's a mountainous airport. We're going to have the train push button on. We got Pappies on the left-hand side, reels, approach lights, or the runway end identifier lights. If we have to go miss, we already looked at it. It's pretty much straight out to Airbus, hold, right turns. That's in the box. That matches the approach plate. Landing on runway 16, if indeed we do land on 16. We've got 9,800 feet available for landing. We're going to look for the left-hand turn-off at Charlie or Bravo, most likely. It's probably toasty down there, so we may end up rolling it to the end. I'm going to go ahead and use manual brakes and full reverse to try to aid in keeping the brakes cool. Alright, that's our briefing is complete. What are we looking at here for our descent? We have just about 68 miles to top of descent. I'm going to scroll that back in. That looks good. Alright, our briefing is complete for now. We'll update the weather as soon as we get a little bit closer and we can see it on the map here. So we'll make sure we get the right weather for Cabo. LAP, what is LAP? Oh, La Paz, okay. Oh, we got a little ways to go yet. About 60 miles, we're going to start down. Dougal says my PPL has now been completely withdrawn due to a benign brain tumor. Oh, Dougal, I am so sorry to hear that, man. That is a tough, that's tough. But hey, man, at least we got X-Plane together. We can still fly, and it's pretty realistic, man. But I'm really sorry to hear that. I actually I've got a buddy that is dealing with a brain tumor right now as well. It's actually coming back, so that's a tough position to be in. Hang in there, buddy. So hopefully we can have some good times flying some X-Plane though, and you won't miss that PPL. Jarik Gajda says, hello, sir. I'm a big fan of your videos. Good luck with your flight today. Thank you, sir. Carta. Oh, yeah, just checking in with that. Marcus Furris says, are you planning to make videos about flights in Europe? Yes, I am, and I'm just waiting on my good friend, who is an artist. We're coming up with a V1 Simulations livery, and just like all my streams, guys, we're not just going to load a plane up in Europe. So we're going to have a V1 Simulations livery, and we're going to have a V1 aircraft. And what we're going to do is we're going to fly it from from the U.S. over to Europe, and then we're going to fly all through Europe. So my streams during that week or 2 weeks or whatever it is, we're going to fly all through Europe with that airplane over there, and then we're going to fly it back. And then I actually thought it'd be a cool idea, since we're going to be using VATSIM, since that's the only ATC service over there, we may do a VATSIM group flight. Anybody who wants to fly with us, follow the V1 bird. We're going to do a VATSIM group flight, if you guys want to, on the way over to Europe. So it should be a good time. It's coming down the pipeline, guys. I've been looking at airports. I've been looking at sceneries. I have decided that I do need a new SSD for all those great sceneries over there in Europe. I do have Orbix on the UK, already. I don't know, do you guys say the UK or on UK, United Kingdom, that little island over there? So I do have Orbix over there, but I do know there's some great sceneries within the heart of Europe and everything. So we're gonna be doing that. Just waiting for that livery to come out, and yeah, we'll probably get it on our way. Andre says, don't forget MHTG approach down the road sometime. I won't. Can't forget it. Slam Cannon at V1 Sim, glad you found the Hudson livery. It's a special little livery. My father was a mechanic on the exact 320, 106 US, when he worked for US Airways. Miss seeing that paint in the air. I sure do too, Slam Cannon. That's pretty cool, though, that your father was working on that exact plane. Man, that's crazy. Theo says, how do you fly VOR? Well, in the Airbus, it's pretty simple. In a normal situation, VOR is just going to be a GPS overlay. But if you are doing a GPS overlay VOR, the co-pilot needs to be, or not the co-pilot, whoever is pilot monitoring, needs to be in ROSE VOR, and they have to verify that the hard data is accurate with the nav overlay. So when you do a VOR approach in the Airbus, it's very simple if it's a true GPS overlay. Now, if you're doing a selected VOR approach, and you're both in the VOR mode, which if that happens, that means something is wrong. That means your GPS is lost, your GPS isn't primary. Then it's a little bit more tricky, and you'd be flying it with ROSE VOR. But 99.999% of the time, you're going to fly it just like a GPS overlay, kind of how we're going to do this RNAV approach. And you wouldn't be hitting the LS push button either. And that's why I did not press the LS push button for this approach, because we're doing an RNAV approach, we're doing an RNP. So there is no need to have the LS push buttons on for this approach. OT, have you ever flown the River Visual into DCA? Absolutely. I live right under the approach course and see the planes coming in. It's so cool to watch them. Yeah, it sure is. I do love that that River Visual approach. That is a fun one to fly. It can be hectic. Nice declaration of love. Thank you, Christian Bill. Daniel Smith says, can an amblyopic person become an airline pilot? Basically, one eye can't focus as well as the other. I guess, yeah, Dougal responded, I think it would depend on the level of disturbance. So as long as you can pass an eye test that was required for your medical certificate, I don't see why not. I know pilots can wear corrective lenses. Pilots wear glasses all the time, so I don't see why not. It would depend on, like Dougal said, you know, the amount of disturbance you have, or what other stipulations could come from that. Alex Skinny says, how realistic is flight factor? It's pretty realistic, man. There's a lot of things that, I mean, I could sit here and nitpick to death an airplane, right? But I mean, I can come up here, I can talk about the calls buttons not working, I can talk about the thrust and the flex climb. There's no thrust between flex and climb, how the thrust seems to be pretty linear throughout the power band. I mean, you could nitpick an airplane apart, but an Airbus is over $90 million. This is less than 100. So for what you get in this aircraft, I do think it's very realistic, especially with the sounds. The sounds to me, I say it over and over and over again, the sounds to me can make or break an airplane, and with the BSS sound pack, it's very realistic. And most everything actually does work the way I would expect it to when we're talking about normal operations and normal configurations. If I were to start doing electrical failures and switching off buses, you know, that kind of thing, I don't know how deep that simulation goes. I've done some testing, and believe it or not, the TOLUS has some really deep-rooted failures that you can play out that function the way I would imagine them to happen, and I've actually seen in the sim. So it's pretty darn close. They're both really good modules. Nicholas says that the wind is 100 at 17. I just looked it up. Well, thank you. I'm going to take your word for it. That sounds better. That north wind didn't sound right coming, but that was up at La Paz, so this sounds better. 117. You wouldn't happen to have a temp or a barrow, would you? I'll let you guys be my METARs. Seth says, what is my favorite Airbus airplane? A350. I think that is the sleek-looking Airbus, man. And the 220s that are coming out. I've seen the 220, 200, or I'm sorry, no, the 100. But I would love to see a 220, 300. I haven't seen the long 220 in person yet. I would love to see that in person. The 220, 100 looks pretty slick. It is smaller. It's like a small 319, but the 350 is just, I think Airbus nailed it with the looks on that one. I think it's beautiful. 8 miles prior to top of descent. We're going to go ahead and, whoops, we're not going to do that. We're going to set, what was it, 11,000 for now. And let's go ahead and start our down. Spirit Wings 355, descend via the Ineco 1 Alpha arrival. Cross Ineco at or above 200. Report crossing Ineco. That's kind of what the clearances sound like out here. They clear you down and then they want you to report. So actually I put 11 in there. We're going to set 4,000 for Morocco. 4,000 feet is the bottom for Morocco. We can see that right here. 4,000 foot. We are in the descent mode. Let's go ahead and start getting people seated. Do a little PA announcement for you. Folks on the flight deck. We're about 115 miles from Cabo. Just about another 20-25 minutes before we touch down in Mexico. Weather in Cabo is a nice day, 98 degrees, light winds out of the south, partly cloudy skies. Anticipating a couple bumps on our descent. I'm going to keep that seatbelt sign on for you. We do ask that you remain seated for the duration of the flight until the aircraft arrives safely at the gate. On behalf of your Dallas-based flight crew and Spirit Airlines family, we want to be the first to welcome you into San Jose del Cabo. Well, PA for y'all. Alright, let's make sure everything is looking good here. It is. Oh, wait, I see the bottom of the comment log. I'm catching up. Alright, make sure the plane is doing what it needs to be doing. Let's take a look outside. Oh, I just opened the tray table by accident. Man, look at those wings. So nice. Theo says FV1 Sim, a VATSIM group flight would be amazing. I think so too. Vincent Crumb says, do you have call? Forgive me, I don't think I understand what you're referring to by call. Are you talking about like a XRAS system where the airplane speaks out to you when you're approaching a runway? I'm kind of unfamiliar with what you're asking there. Sorry. Yeah, Tegucigalpa, man. Hell of an approach. We're going to do it. Carter says, at V1, it's the UK, or in the UK, or of the UK. Okay, thanks, man. You guys are gonna have to forgive me on my my Euro tour when we go over there if I start butchering names and all kinds of things. I know in Europe it's EASA is pretty darn strict. I'm gonna be like, what is this? What's this Texan doing out here? You don't belong. Brian Harris says, you're going to have a great time at home helping your wife and new baby. A lot of flying while the baby and wife sleep and recover. Congratulations. Thank you, Brian Harris. I appreciate that. Thank you so much, bud. I'm looking forward to it. Santi, Orbix UK is awesome. Yes, it is. Oh, Vincent Crumb says, do you have to call ATC before you descend from the top of descent? If you're in radar contact, no. Oops, I took out the tray table here. Yeah, if you're in radar contact, you do not, unless they ask you to. They say report leaving 350, whatever your cruise altitude is. Coming into Mexico here, they do always say report Ineco. So we're going to report Ineco at or above 200, and we can continue on and down. It just kind of depends on air traffic control. All right, OT, gotta go. I'll catch you later. See you later, bud. Do you prefer Airbus over Boeing? Yeah, man. I fly the Airbus. No, both are great aircraft. other than except the Max, obviously, with their current shenanigans. But my problem now with Boeing is, I'm a little salty at Boeing because, you know, when that first plane went down, when the first Max went down, when an aircraft noses over into the ground like that, they wanted to look straight away at the pilots, which, I mean, I get that, but that's always an easy blame, right? It's an easy blame for a multi-billion-dollar company. So I was kind of surprised that there was no grounding after the first incident. And actually, if you guys are aware of this, before the first Max went into the ground, there was the day previous, I think it was the day previous, or a very closely prior to that crash, that same aircraft had the same thing happen. But there was a jump seater on that airplane, and the jump seater was able to stop and prohibit the situation from getting worse and eventually leading to the crash. So that's a big, I mean, I don't know. So that's a big no-no there. But the fact that after the first plane crashed, nothing was done to prevent it from happening again, like, oh, it was just, you know, whatever, it just happened once. I mean, come on. Then it happens again, and now you've got over 400 people in the grave. So, to me, somebody needs to be held responsible, and I think that's Boeing, and they dropped the ball. And, I mean, of course, they're probably going to get out of it. I mean, you see that huge order from British Airways for Maxes that are already ground. Like, that just seems political to me. I don't know. I don't like that. So I was a big Boeing fan. I actually think the 737 looks a little bit better than the standard Airbus, unless the Airbus has sharklets. With sharklets, I think the Airbus looks just as good as the Boeing. But, you know, when you look at a 737 versus an A320, I kind of think the 737 looks better. It looks more sleek. But, and I've been all over Boeing field, so my favorite airplane of all time is a 727. So it's not like I hate Boeing. The fact that they try to sneak that kind of situation onto that system onto an airplane, and they go through that situation the way they did, I don't like it. So I'm kind of anti-Boeing at the moment. You got 400 people in the grave because you were money hungry and trying to do something that you shouldn't have been doing, and you knew you shouldn't have been doing it, but you did it anyway to compete at bottom dollar. I don't find that as a valid excuse to kill people. So I'm a little anti-Boeing at the moment. The temp is 30 degrees and trans altitude is 18.5. Awesome. So let's go here. I don't know why it's at 2,000, 20,000. Oh, well, we're already below it. Oh, I already skipped it. 18.5. We'll pull standard here. Oh, anyway, we'll pull. It's 30 degrees. And I missed the altimeter. Let's take a look at it. So we have passed the NECO, and we'll say, okay, Spirit Wings 355, Roger, continued descent 4,000. Roger that, continued descent 4,000, a NECO, or continued descent 4,000, Spirit Wings 355. See, who needs pilot edge? I could do both. Alright, 4,000, few, 29901. 20 knots a win? 100 at 20 now. Ooh. Now I forgot. What was it? I keep clicking that stupid thing out. 29901. Go away. 29901. Well, that's showing me 20 knots now, so we'll go with that. What? That's stupid. Let me just put that in there. 120. We got a 20 knot wind going in today. That'll be fun. Alright, set 29901. Oh my gosh. There we go. 29901 set, and let's do an approach checklist. Briefing's complete, ECAM status checked, auto brakes are off, seatbelt sign is on, minimums we're looking at 970. It's in the box now. Set. Altimeters are 29901 set, passing 15.3. That checks. Approach checklist complete. Alright, let's make sure we're not getting high here, because every time I come in here in real life I end up high. We don't want to do that tonight. Alright, so basically we're going to make Morocco. Which one? That's Maru. And Morocco, we're going to make it a hard altitude of 4,000. So I'm going to come over here. It says above 4. What we're going to do is we're going to make Morocco a hard altitude of 4,000 feet. Boom. Descending. Insert. Alright, so now, instead of crossing at or above 4, it's actually going to level us off here at 4,000 feet at Morocco. So that looks good. And alright. Yep. There's a 200 knot speed. If you look coming into Mexico, they've got some slightly different terminal arrival speed restrictions. Below 3,000 feet and 10 nautical miles within any airport is 200 knots. Below 10,000 feet within Mexico airspace, 250. That's pretty standard. Below 10,000 and within 30 nautical miles of airport, 250. Pretty standard. So basically, we gotta be below 200 by the time we reach 10 miles. That shouldn't be a problem. Things are looking up. As far as speed goes, we're gonna go ahead and select speed now. And we're gonna slow to 250. Get those brakes out. What are you doing to me? And then we're gonna go ahead and activate, confirm the approach phase. There is our brick. And there is our stick. Brick and a stick when you're doing an RNAV. I got the speed brakes out right now so we can slow down here a little bit. So with the 320, if the autopilot's on, even with full speed brake, you're only getting half deflection. Only with the 320 though. 319, you get full deflection. But the angle of deflection is different. There it is, 250 knots at 10,000. Perfect. Let's go ahead and get our lights on. I'm just go ahead and turn my nose light on. I know I talk about this in the with ATC. I leave it off. Cleared approach, we put it to taxi. Cleared land, put it to takeoff. But since there's no ATC, speed brake's yelling at me. Alright, why are you still out? There you go. Alright, let me set up my chair. Gotta get all situated here for the approach. Whoa. That's track IR for you. There we go. Alright. We're back. We are descending on the brick at a knot out of 10,000. Things are looking good. Set these screens up for y'all. That one there. Wingman says you don't have VTAR data? I do have it on my iPad. I could have just looked at that, I guess. Sorry. Levi sees Revive. Pure agreed by Boeing. Yes, I agree. Carter Jewel says V1 Sim, yeah, I was shocked at the fact they didn't add in any redundancy for the 2 AOT sensors. Pretty shocking. Absolutely is, man. And it's not even just the AOT, the sensor. I mean, the whole thing it went down. I mean, we've talked about it a little bit. I'm sure you guys know by now. But on the 737, when you put on those engines, you totally changed the way this wing works because there were bigger engines and the 7.3 can't fit them. They don't have the clearance with the CFMs. So what they actually did is they created a different pylon here and they actually raised the engine up. So if you look at a 737 MAX from the front, the engine nacelles actually come above the leading edge of the wing. And this creates all kinds of different problems and situations that need to be fixed. But they decided, oh, we'll just slap essentially a stick pusher on it for AOA so you won't get in a situation. And it was stupid. I mean, you're changing that much on the airplane, you really should need to take your time and not just, Band-Aid things together. On the Neo, you know, it was easy to do because the Airbus sits higher than the Boeing. The Airbus actually sits on its frame taller than the 737. So when the Neo engines came out, they could just put them on the same pylon, and it was no problem. So, yeah, man, it's crazy stuff. Should have been standard from the start. All right, we're at a 6.6. Approaching Merak at 4,000. Once we level at 4, I'm going to go ahead and reduce the speed. What's our distance? We're 23 miles. We've got to make sure we don't blow that 250 restriction. Actually, let's do this. Let's go ahead and go 210 here and get half our speed brakes out. Let's see if we can start slowing down a little bit. I'm going to go open descent. Actually, scratch that. I'm going to go vertical speed 1100. Very hard to slow down and go down in the Airbus, but if you want to try vertical speed, select the speed that you want and get those speed brakes out. That way the airplane still starts coming down. We're in the clouds here, but OAT is plus 27. We're good. So if you were to just do an open descent, the aircraft would level off and slow to 210 before descending, and then you can really start to get high. So this way, by using vertical speed and forcing it to descend, if your vertical speed is 1200 or less, you can still get that speed to inch back a little bit. We're VFE next to minus 10. Let's go flaps 1. And now let's go back to open. Alright, look at the approach tower is going to be 18.9. Rocket 4,000, that looks like we're going to make that. A Spirit Wing 355, contact tower 18.9er, radar service terminated, good day. That's my Mexican accent. Radar service terminated, and over to tower, Spirit Wings 355. Speed alt star, put the speed brakes in. Alright, we've got 4,000, we're cleared approach. They say tower, oops, didn't mean to do that. Level off at 4,000 there at Merak. After Merak, we're cleared to descend, we're cleared approach, so we'll set 2,000. Speed descent. Versatile descent. San Jose Tower, Spirit Wings 355, RNP 16, Spirit Wing 355, you're cleared, RNP, runway 16 approach. Alright, let's start coming down. So if we're cleared approach, we're going to go out final. We're in app nav, we need to get down. Let's get the gear down. Got a little high there on that level off. Not bad. 800 feet and coming down. We should be approaching 10 miles from Cabo, and we're at 200 knots. That looks good. I had to throw the gear out early there, guys, just so we can make that speed restriction. We're in final lap. Get those speed brakes back in. Final lap. 2,000 feet above field. Field elevation was 374, so we got a little ways to go yet. Let's go ahead and come back to 180. We'll call the field to 2,400. We'll call it 4,000 feet, so we'll say at 2,400 we're going to manage up the speed, and we'll hand fly it in. This looks really good out here. Alright, let's do a flaps 2. Look at that wing! Oh my goodness. Alright, so the RNAV actually comes in at a slight angle. That's why we are not exactly lined up with the center line. That is true to real life. This approach is a little bit off center. Here comes SD801. Guys, oh, I should have managed up the speed. There we go. When you disconnect your autopilot in the Airbus, always do it from the stick. When you do it from the FCU, it actually registers as a failure, and you're going to get a red ECAM here. You don't want to disengage your autopilot from the FCU. Always click it off from the stick, and we are good to go. VFU next -10, flaps 3. We got to configure. We are coming down. And VFU next -10, flaps full, landing check. Cabin crew advised, auto thrust. We're speed mode. ECAM memo. Landing all green. Landing checks complete. Clear to land. 16. All right, runway in sight. So on an RNAV like this, we can't keep the flight directors on below our minimum guidance. So as soon as we reach our minimums, which is about 970 MSL, we'd go ahead and turn them off. I'm gonna turn them off early. Flight directors off. Autopilot's off. We're hand flying. I'm gonna go bird mode here so I can see my flight path angle, and we're going to go ahead and set up for the runway center line. We've got a little bit of crosswind here today. We've got 20 knots out of the left. In this situation, as I would do in real life, I'm going to go ahead and activate auto brakes low. The reason I use auto brakes low in a crosswind like this is so you get a much more even wear on the brake temps, on the heating of the brakes. So
100 above.
looking good. We're just going to let the airplane crab nicely.
Minimum.
Now the winds are dying off. 18 knots, that's child's play. We're 1,000 stable, landing.
400.
Really like the looks of the scenery. This looks pretty good.
400. 300.
I'll let it crab down until we get over the threshold, then we're going to push it over.
100. 50.
Go.
40. 30. 20. Retard. 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 5.
Spoilers. Reverse green. Auto brakes are low. Decelling. Let's get back on the center line there. A little bit of a overcorrection there. 70 knots. Idle on the reverse. We can stow them. Welcome to Cabo. Man, that wind is blowing me on the ground. Alright, let's get out of here. Oops, auto brakes were still engaged. A Spirit Wing 355, turn left, Alpha Bravo to the ramp. Have a good day. Alpha Bravo ramp, Spirit Wings 355, we'll see ya. Let's go ahead and clean up the airplane. We are clear of the active. On a taxiway, flap open message on the ECAM. Let's go ahead and fire up the APU. What was that? I think it was 125 on the landing rate. That's pretty good. I'll take that. I'll take that in a 20-knot crosswind. A little bit of, I couldn't get the the nose back to the right. I think that's an X-plane limitation. I find the wind physics is pretty good in X-plane, except on the ground. Maybe it's just the flight factor, but it's too dramatized. It's too strong on the ground. On the ground, I shouldn't be having to use full right pedal to get the nose back to the center line after we straightened out. So that was a little bit, I think that's kind of an X-plane limitation there, but everything all the way down felt pretty real. About 100 feet, 50 feet over the threshold. Go ahead and get that rudder in there, straighten out, and then once we touched down, the airplane just wanted to continue to go left, and I was like, I don't know about that, but I'll take it. All right, we're coming into the stand here. I believe we're going to park it at 16, which is right over here. APU is up. Let's get the bleed on. It's toasty in here. And we'll kill the taxi light. That's sweet. Terminal 2, gate 18. This line doesn't look very comforting. This looks over the safety zone. We have an A320 marking. Oh, we do. Oh, a little bit on the brakes there. Brakes are set. APU is available. Let's go ahead and kill engine 1. Seatbelt signs. Engine 2. Looking for 10% N1. There they come, that's close enough. Beacon light comes off. And we'd open up the doors. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Cabo, Mexico. Isn't that spooling down? Oh, that's nice. Alright guys, we are here. And thank you guys, that's Butter. Welcome to Mexico. Thank you, Ground Point Niner. Alright, we are going to do this instant replay, guys. Now, if I do it from the inside and I don't change, I think we're going to be okay. It's when I go from an exterior view to an inside view that crashes. So, can I switch to a wing view? God help us. We are. Alright, here we go. Let's get to some of these comments here while we watch a few of these landings. Ooh, that looked pretty nice. Right in touchdown zone. Spoilers. Here comes the Florence kit. There it is. There's your Florence kit. Let's go ahead and back it up a little bit. Oh boy. Alright, we'll do it from there. And I think I actually have a little bit of audio here for you. Alright. Let's talk about some of these landings while we watch this approach. Let's see. Yeah, Slam Cannon says now it's a standard, which it should have been from the start. I totally agree. Carr says that sensor was an option, but most airlines don't have it because it's mainly used for pilots that were trained by the military. Interesting. Do you think the Flight Factor 320 has good drag simulation? Because when I fly it, it seems hard to slow down sometimes. Theo, that's actually very accurate when you're talking about the Flight Factor 3, or the Airbus in general. It is very hard to slow down and go down at the same time, and it's the 320 in particular is much harder to slow than a 319. The 319 is more hot rodish in its landing, or I'm sorry, not its landing, in its ability to slow down in its drag configuration. You can get those full speed brake deployments out there. It's a shorter fuselage. It just flies a little bit more responsive than the 320. The 320 is pretty slippery. Let's see if we can run over to the other side here. Carta says, all it was an angle of attack indicator like a circle with a point. Makes it worse is there are another airplane, a military plane that uses a similar system that has 2 AOT sensors for redundancy, but they didn't put it on the max. Yeah, man, that's... who knows, man. Cianti says the British Airways order was hugely surprising and a little concerning. I totally agree, man. I think it was political to keep them keep them going, because without that order, whew, it would have been, who knows. Wingman, thanks for the meat tarp. Thanks, sir. Project 2019, Project Flight 29 FSX, is that X-plane? Yes, it is. Daniel Smith, do you think a passenger can land an A320? Maybe. It depends on the situation. It really depends on the situation, I think. We'll watch one more. We'll watch it from up front, and then we'll try to get to the exterior view, and then I think we'll be good. Let's see if I can move forward here. That'd be great. There we go. Up to the first class cabin. Let's watch from here. Unfortunately, the Flight Factor doesn't have any replay audio, which I think is a shame. Shadow coming in, that's cool. I don't know, Daniel. It depends on the situation. I think if you follow my professional series, you might be able to land it and walk away from it. So that's all I'll say about that. Dougal, that question gets old. Yeah, I agree, buddy. Wow, that says that was a good Mexican accent. Thank you. I appreciate it. I was trying. Alright, guys. We're going to try to go to an exterior view. We're just going to go here. We're going to pause. We're just going to go runway. Alright. Now let's back it up. Alright, let's watch it from the runway. I think I figured out what was causing the crashes. And I don't know why, but it's when I change. Like if I were to change to an interior view right now, I think my sim would crash. So we're going to watch outside views here. Get through the rest of these comments. Project Fly says, I play Microsoft Flight Sim and my sim looks better than this in X-Plane. FSX is a little bit, you can make X-Plane look good too. It just requires work. Yeah, I agree, man. It's just, there was default scenery coming in here. This is a updated airport, or not payware, just a, what do you call it, a third-party airport. So, but man, when you fly over the Fork Boy stuff, you can make it look 10 times better than FSX ever will look, I think, personally. That's one of the reasons why I've made the change. But look at that crab angle coming in. That looks so good. Look at the lights on the Matavia mod. Oh, man. Oh, baby. Whew. Here we go. There's our rudder input. Straighten it out a little bit. Ooh. Nose wheel came down on the center line, but this is my problem here. Look at my rudder deflection. I was trying to get the nose to the right, and it did not want to let the nose come to the right. And I think that's an X-plane. I think that's an X-plane limitation on the ground with wind. But let's look at it from here. Look at that crab. I could have straightened it out a little bit more. A little bit more would have been perfect. Let's go ahead and give it a pause right there. So yeah, I could have straightened it out a little bit more. You could see that my truck is actually off center line there. But the nose wheel came down right where I wanted it to. So this is good. Everything here I agree with in terms of X-plane and the sim. And then, but right here though, so why is the airplane still trying to go to the left? That's one thing I think that's an X-plane limitation, but I'll take it. Let's watch one more. We'll watch one more, and then we'll call it. All right. Get your landing rates in, guys. Yeah, what was 60? Oh, there were some good guesses there. I don't know what it was. What was it? 124 or something like that? Ooh, 125. Awesome. That's a butter. I'll take it. I'll take it. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Great stream again. Thank you. Congrats on the baby. I appreciate it, Tommy. Thank you for the tutorials. Says Wingman. You're absolutely welcome. And Wingman of the Piston Series. Thank you. Yeah, I apologize for missing an episode, guys. The Piston Series. I have that. Next episode is ready to roll. I was just finishing some edits on it. I didn't like the quality of the first one I made, so I didn't release it on Friday. But I re-recorded the episode, and I'm going to release it here real soon. So it's coming. All right, HD Sim, we'll see you later. Take it easy, bud. Let's see. Better to ask, can Airbus Simmerland real Airbus? Yeah, we'll see, man. All right, great stream, Captain Kingos. Thank you. I appreciate the kind words, guys, and that's going to end the stream for now. We'll watch this landing, and I will catch you guys. I will catch you guys on the next one. Hopefully, we'll get another stream in this week. I've got the mini series coming out, a McDo Advanced Tips that's coming out on the. Oh no, I don't want to do runway. I want to do tower. Where's the tower? There it is. So I've got a McDo mini series coming out, and the first episode is going to be how to extend the runway center line. So that'll be coming out for you guys tomorrow morning. I appreciate you guys tuning in, and I will catch you all on the next one. We'll watch this landing, and I'll end the stream. I hope you all have a good rest of your day wherever you are, and we will tune in next time. Thank you for the support, guys.